What is going on, hockey fans? My name is Neil Villapiano, and welcome to this very exciting live watch-along of the Seattle Kraken versus the Vegas Golden Knights here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your evening, wherever you are, checking out this live watch-along. I greatly appreciate it. A lot of you actually know me as the host of the Devil's State of Mind podcast, which covers the New Jersey Devils here on the Hockey Podcast Network. But today, I'm actually going to be more or less neutral. I mean, obviously, I am wearing a Vegas Golden Knights jersey because it's mostly relevant. I'm not a fan of the Golden Knights, nor am I a fan of the Seattle Kraken, but I am obviously a very passionate hockey fan, and I'm just super excited that hockey is finally back. The season is underway. I'm actually watching the end of the first game that we had tonight between the Pittsburgh Penguins and Tampa Bay Lightning. The Penguins currently are up 2-0, about 6.5 minutes into the third period. So the Lightning are obviously in trouble, but in about a half hour or so, the Seattle Kraken, the 32nd team in the National Hockey League, will officially be making their debut in the NHL as they take on the most recent expansion team, the Vegas Golden Knights, in Vegas. So obviously Seattle's got their hands full right away, but a lot of people are excited to see this matchup. I know I am, and I'm just so excited for you guys to be here. I also did mention that Ryan Chambers of Starcastic Remarks, which is the podcast on this network that covers the Dallas Stars, will be joining us in about a half hour or so. So he will be on and we will be watching the game together. As always, by the way, make sure you leave a like, you comment, and you subscribe so you don't miss any great content that we have here, any great hockey content. The best place to get it is right here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. And as far as for me with the Devil's State of Mind podcast, if you're a Devils fan or even just a hockey fan, make sure you check out the podcast and all the podcasts on this network. We post new episodes every Monday and Thursday, and we also post episodes from, basically throughout the week. So if you want to get your consistent and, just so much hockey content, make sure you go check out the Hockey Podcast Network. And also, this live stream and everything else that we do is sponsored by the awesome people at DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure to use our promo code THPN when you use it. So let's check out some of the comments already as we're into this. The Bottom Line Podcast saying, Neil, what's up? What's up, man? Hope you're all doing well. My good friend Josh Deming asked me, prediction, Neil. This is a pretty good question because I've been thinking about it all day, and I've kind of wondered to myself, are we going to see a blowout? Or are we going to see, a competitive game? To me personally, I think that we're going to get a pretty back and forth game. And I think that we're due for a high scoring game to kind of kick things off. So for me personally, I have the Vegas Golden Knights winning 5-4 in overtime. So obviously this is going to be, at least what I'm hoping for, a very, very exciting game from start to finish. Definitely a little bit more interesting than the first game that we have right now. And that's something to have there. Charles Phillips B, shout out. What's up, Charles? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us here today. Joe Stone saying, go Kraken. Yes, let's talk about the Seattle Kraken for just a moment here. So obviously, as we all know, they are the 32nd franchise in the National Hockey League, making their debut here tonight. And it's really fascinating because I think a lot of us, when there was rumors about the NHL once again expanding, there were definitely a couple cities. I know Quebec City was definitely one of the ones that was kind of, at the end there, but it eventually ended up becoming Seattle, and they've worked very, very hard. And obviously, even during a pandemic, which is really impressive, they've been able to be right on schedule, and they will hopefully get the chance to play in I believe it's called the Climate Pledge Arena. That's going to be in Seattle. They're hopefully going to be having that relatively soon. As a Devils fan, literally our second game of the season is going to be at home against the Seattle Kraken. So that's going to be very, very exciting to see. But obviously, a lot of the guys on this Kraken team have a lot to prove. And the biggest news that we got recently was Mark Giordano was named the first ever captain of the Seattle Kraken. So the former Flames captain is now a captain of the Kraken. So he's one of the few individuals in NHL history who have had the pleasure of being a captain for multiple teams. The other big news coming out for the Seattle Kraken is obviously they have about 5 or 6 players that are on the COVID-19 list, so they're going to be a little bit shorthanded, and that's obviously not what you want to have go on if you're Hackstall and this coaching staff to kind of start things off. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, they got Philip Grubauer. They have a pretty solid defensive team, and it's going to be interesting. The biggest question mark I have for them basically this whole year is simply that goal scoring. Where is it going to come from? My guess, Jaden Schwartz is probably going to be the best goal scorer for this team, but they definitely need to figure out, what's going to happen long term when it comes to the goal scoring ability. The N Bandmaster, I hope I said that correctly, 13 says, "Let's go Kraken." All right. Charles Phillips saying, "Let's go." And he obviously mentioned Kraken. Stephen Master, fired up for the drop of the puck on new season. Yes, absolutely. It's just exciting because we officially really have what you would consider a very, very more or less normal NHL season. 82 games. We have the All-Star game that's coming back. It's going to be in Vegas this year, a couple of outdoor games. And obviously the big thing that we're all looking forward to is the NHL players being allowed to go back to the Olympics for 2022. So there's just so much hockey that's going to be happening starting tonight and moving forward. And here on the Hockey Podcast Network, we're going to be doing a lot of live watch-alongs throughout the year. Not just myself, but so many of the great guys that are on this Hockey Podcast Network. And I hope you guys, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content that we post, because we're going to be busy just like the NHL this year. VI Sports Talk says expansion team showdown. Yes, it is the battle of the most recent 2 expansion teams. Obviously, I don't think that the Seattle Kraken will have as much success as the Vegas Golden Knights did in their first year. But the Golden Knights have certainly given the Kraken some high expectations to live by into this. But I think regardless of whether how good or bad the Seattle Kraken are, knowing that Seattle sports fan base, they're going to be so excited, so pumped to just have a professional hockey team that they're going to support it no matter what. If you had the opportunity to go to, the Seattle Seahawks games and be part of the 12th man and realize just how loud that stadium is, you understand how passionate they are. The Seattle Sounders of Major League Soccer, super passionate fan base. Even the Seattle Mariners, who obviously have struggled in years past, had a pretty good year this year, but fell just short of making the playoffs. Very loyal fan base. And as I'm talking to you, the Pittsburgh Penguins have just scored again. It's now 3-0 Pittsburgh with 8.5 minutes to go in this game. So barring some crazy miracle, it looks like the Penguins are going to get an upset on the road to open up the season. I think the only question right now is, will the Tampa Bay Lightning find a way to score before this game's over? I think it would be a pretty rough way to start the year, after just raising your second consecutive Stanley Cup banner to get shut out at home. Matthew Stott saying, "Good luck tonight, guys." Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. Thank you for checking us out. Josh Deming giving me his prediction. He actually has the Kraken winning 4-3. He's actually one of the hosts of Keeping Up with the Kraken, or the Krakens, excuse me, plural. He also is the big reason that we've been able to get so much really good video content. So shout out to Josh. But that's a really good prediction. I mentioned before, Joe Stone saying go Kraken. So we're just going through, we're just basically going through here. And the bottom line podcast, if Vegas can't figure it out this year, they're screwed. I pretty much said they were screwed last year. I mean, I don't really see how. This year is basically cup or you blow this whole thing up completely, because you look at the way Vegas handled the last 2 years, starting in the bubble and up to this point. And the biggest problem was the treatment of not only other star players, but certainly Marc-Andre Fleury. What happened this offseason was completely unacceptable. And the ridiculous part was finding out that the Vegas Golden Knights purposely wanted Marc-Andre Fleury to find out on Twitter that he got traded as punishment for his agent criticizing the organization for how they were treating him. So that was obviously a very, very big stab in the back, as Fleury's agent pointed out during the bubble when he posted that art picture of Fleury getting stabbed in the back. And that's kind of the craziness. And now Fleury's off to Chicago to be paired up with Kevin Lankinen and the Blackhawks. And Robin Leonard now is the number 1 goaltender. And he has a lot of pressure going into this season to prove to the Golden Knights that they made the right decision to move on from Fleury, to make Leonard their number one, and that they can go on and not only, make a run in the playoffs, but win the Stanley Cup. Because the last couple of years, let's face it, they lost shockingly in the conference finals to the Dallas Stars 2 years ago. Last year, you go to the conference finals in a crazy year where you're playing an Eastern Conference team in the third round, and you lose to the Montreal Canadiens in a very, very almost basically a whimper, and that was kind of the way that we all looked at it. So it really is going to be a put up or shut up year. The Pacific Division is very, very weak, to just call it like it is. They should have no problem running the table in that division, but they do have to get it done once the playoffs begin, because if they don't, because of the salary cap, because of how much money is invested in all these older players, and that Vegas has never actually done a legit rebuild yet, that's the situation that we're in. So that's basically it. Vegas is a plus 750 via Caesars Sportsbook to win the Stanley Cup. So they're going to be one of the top dogs, particularly in the Western Conference, that are going to be favored to go and win the Stanley Cup this year. We shall see what happens with Vegas, and it starts tonight. The Bottom Line podcast says Vegas wins 6-5 tonight. So that's a pretty, again, another high-scoring prediction, 6-5. Considering we've only had 3 goals in this first game, I would like to see a couple more goals and a little bit more of a back-and-forth game. Gavino Villapiano saying Vegas 5-1. That is a pretty one-sided game. Again, a lot of goals, but obviously not that competitive. I personally don't want that, but I don't make up the rules. The hockey gods do that for me. Matty D saying, what's up, Neil? What's up, Matty? I believe Matty actually was on the last live watch along that I did a couple weeks ago when I did the Devils took on the Rangers in a preseason game in which the Devils won 7-1. It was a very entertaining game, at least from my perspective, being the host of the Devils State of Mind podcast and being a big Devils fan. That was a fun to watch. And I should mention also that later on this week, also on the Hockey Podcast Network's YouTube channel, I will be doing a live watch along of the Devils home opener to kick off the season against the Chicago Blackhawks. I will be joined by Jerome of the WCB podcast from the Hockey Podcast Network that covers the Chicago Blackhawks. So we'll be doing that game together. It'll be a lot of fun. Make sure you go check out that one. And again, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the content, including those live watch alongs. Matty D also gives me a prediction, 4-2 Vegas. So far we only have one person, Josh, that is picking Vegas, that's picking Seattle to win. Considering how Pittsburgh has come out with them being shorthanded without Crosby and Malkin, I wouldn't be surprised that much if Seattle came in and really caught people by surprise. Logan the Scout Trooper, where can I watch the game? So as far as I know, the game will be nationally televised on ESPN, and it'll also be available on ESPN Plus. So that's where you're going to be able to watch this game, if you want to watch it nationally, if you're not from either one of those areas. Logan Scout, so far, you're the only one with free access to the game, at least that I know of. Again, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to show you the game, but obviously I'm going to, give you guys the opportunity to, I'm going to be describing it. I'm going to try to actually have something more or less a scoreboard right next to me and also right next to Chambers when he gets in, Ryan, so you guys can keep track of what the score is and kind of go from there. Logan also says only on ESPN. Yeah, unfortunately, because it's the first couple of games of the year, and also because ESPN, its first year back as one of the national TV providers in the NHL, to kick things off for the NHL season, they want to have these games on ESPN. So yeah, it's either ESPN or ESPN Plus that you can watch this game. So that's kind of the situation that you're in. So that's pretty much the comments for now. But like I said, continue to put your comments, ask me questions, anything you'd like. As again, we're kind of about 15, 20 minutes or so away from the start of this game. And like I mentioned before, Ryan Chambers from the Starcastic Remarks podcast, which covers the Dallas Stars, will be joining me a little bit later, and we will be watching the game together, answering questions, and kind of just talking about everything. They're actually showing a little bit of the warm-up right now of the Seattle Kraken Golden Knights. And again, I got to be honest with you, those road uniforms for the Kraken are actually way nicer than the home ones. That's my opinion, at least. That's kind of the way that's the kind of way that I look at it. I mean, obviously I'm a big jersey fan, so obviously I look for all these. This is a pretty cool one, the white one for the Vegas Golden Knights. So yeah, I mean, if I had a Seattle Kraken jersey, I would obviously wear that, but obviously, I have Vegas, so that makes it a little bit more easier. And it's more relevant to obviously what we're going on. Logan the Scout Trooper says, okay, thanks. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm sorry that your options are very limited. Once the season kind of really gets rolling and everybody's playing and everything, you'll probably get more opportunities to find different ways to watch the game, especially, if you're from relatively those areas who get like local broadcasts and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. But as we continue to talk here, I'm going to just quickly find, I guess they call like the link. One of my good friends actually helped me find a, I guess you call it what it's called Flash Score, which has allowed me to kind of keep you guys up to date with the scoreboard and also some of the other statistics that will be put out as the game progresses. So I'm going to be doing a share screen once the game starts and everything. So far from what we're seeing, the starting lineup for the Vegas Golden Knights will be Robin Lehner in net, Martinez and Pietrangelo on the back end, and then Pacioretty, Stevenson, and Mark Stone at the top. And then as far as it for the Seattle Kraken, you have Jordan Eberle, Alex Wenberg, and Jaden Schwartz, who will be the three forwards, Adam Larson and Susie as the two defensemen, and obviously Philip Grubauer as your starting netminder. And that was probably one of the bigger surprises of the offseason, was the fact that the Colorado Avalanche were in a very, very tough situation financially. They had a choice. Do we give all of the money and term to our captain, Gabriel Landeskog, or do we give a lot of our money and term to Philip Grubauer? I know that Joe Sakic and the Colorado Avalanche tried very hard to get Landeskog to, take a pay cut, but he wouldn't do it. And I understand that. I mean, he's at the prime of his career, and this is his opportunity to get a big payday. So the Colorado Avalanche decided to swallow their pride and just give him the money. And that just basically made it pretty obvious that Grubauer wasn't going to be able to come back. They ended up acquiring and signing more or less just like signing Darcy Kemper to a one-year deal, kind of a prove-it deal for him. They're hoping that obviously with the way he was able to play with a lesser defense in Arizona, that with a much better defense here in Colorado, in which Philip Grubauer was able to thrive enough to the point where he was a Vezina Trophy finalist, that Darcy Kemper can kind of have the same success. So it's not like they have a long-term fix, but it's more of a fix just for this year. But still, in my opinion, Colorado is going to be the favorite out west to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think that's going to be definitely the team to beat. But obviously the big news coming out literally today that we found out was Nathan MacKinnon, the star winger for the Colorado Avalanche, tested positive for COVID-19, and he will definitely be out of the Colorado Avalanche's first game. So obviously that's definitely a backbreaker, and it's frustrating. And, again, COVID-19 is still a pretty big thing going on right now, and we have to continue to be careful and do all the right things. The Tampa Bay Lightning actually just scored. I believe it's Cirelli from the point, as he scores with 5.5 minutes to go in this game to make it 3-1. So Tampa at least gets on the scoreboard, and 5.5 minutes is a lot of time. But I still don't know. And it looks like that Jari was screened by his own man. He kind of collided with his own man, but it ended up in the back of the net anyway. So I don't think that's going to be if it's goalie interference, it's against his own team. So I don't think that we have anything. I don't think that they're going to challenge it and they're going to disallow the goal, but I could be totally wrong. I have it on mute, so obviously I can't hear anything. But yeah, unfortunately for Tristan Jarry, 5.5 minutes away from getting an opening game shutout, and that's unfortunate. But again, let's shift back to this game here tonight between the Seattle Kraken and Vegas Golden Knights. Look, obviously the NHL has wanted to expand to cities like this because not only are they cities that could potentially have really, really good fan bases, but also clearly there's a lot of financial desire with it, particularly with Vegas. It made a lot of sense. And I think one of the good things about Vegas being so good as they've been since their existence is that it's allowed them to create a really good fan base prior to the Las Vegas Raiders coming to Vegas. And I think that they were able to build a very passionate fan base that has been very, very loyal, as the Penguins, literally 20 seconds after the Lightning end up scoring to answer back on an empty netter, and it's now 4-1. So I think that pretty much is going to put this game out of reach for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I believe it's Teddy Bluger that ends up scoring. So yeah, a pretty more or less embarrassing type of loss for the Tampa Bay Lightning on opening night in front of their fans. I'm sure that they are definitely missing that third line of Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman, former New Jersey Devil Blake Coleman, and Barclay Goodrow. So we'll see again how much losing that third line actually affects long-term the Tampa Bay Lightning. But still, the Tampa Bay Lightning are the favorites to win the Cup again. They're the favorites to win the East. I mean, until they're actually beaten, nobody's going to pick against the Tampa Bay Lightning that much. And again, if you are using DraftKings, you should use our promo code as you see right here, THPN, if you want to put down any sort of bet, a parlay or anything like that. Obviously hockey's back. You're able to bet on that. Football, we got the Major League Baseball playoffs. I mean, there's so much that you could use. So please go to DraftKings and please use our promo code THPN. And again, make sure to like and subscribe to the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel so you don't miss any new content that we have. We have different videos. We've actually posted a couple to kind of preview different divisions. We've had the Metropolitan, the Atlantic, all of them in between. And also we're going to do a lot more of these live watch-alongs, not just myself, but many, many more of the wonderful, wonderful podcast hosts that we have here on this network. VI Sports Talk, Crackheads versus Vegas Degenerates. Let's go. I don't know if we have been allowed to use that as our title for this live watch-along, but that was a pretty good one. Yeah, I mean, again, there's so many interesting storylines to this game with Seattle. Let's see how they do in their first game as an expansion team. Vegas wanting to get off to as best of a start as they can because they want to show the entire hockey world that this is the year that they're going to finally put it together. VI Sports, I said probably not. Yeah, no, Ish, you're probably right. We probably would have gotten in trouble for that. But maybe we can have an after hours episode on Twitter where we can use that. Who knows? But again, I'm just really excited. I'm more excited, obviously, to see the Seattle Kraken play because I want to see how they come out. I want to see how Hackstall has his line set up and how he wants to play the game. Grubauer obviously is going to have a lot of high expectations signing that 6-year deal. He is going to be one of the main franchise players for this team in their early stages, and I'm sure he's going to want to not only prove to himself that he's a number one goaltender, but that he has the opportunity to potentially go on a run and maybe win a Vezina Trophy. Ryan from the Starcastic Remarks podcast said he'll be on in about 5-6 minutes. So obviously you won't have to hear me talk the whole time like I did the last time. But no, I enjoy talking about this 100%. Again, my boy Isha, Tanev is an absolute beauty. Rooting for him on this team. Yeah, no, I mean, that profile picture that he has with it is great. It was definitely trending. I even saw, I think it was like a junior hockey team. They all did the Tanev face, it was like that the whole time. But Tanev's, not only is Tanev just an entertainer off the ice, he's a really solid player off the ice, on the ice, excuse me. And I think that the Penguins are obviously going to miss him severely. And I think he's going to be very, very much in the spotlight, particularly offensively, in my opinion, for the Seattle Kraken. I'm not sure if he's going to end up being on the top 6. He probably will, considering the lack of depth that Seattle has right now. But I'm definitely going to be seeing him. He has that very, very nice, patch of lettuce on his head. That hair is just so nice, and you really can't miss him. You really can't miss him. And I believe his brother is still playing in the Pacific Division, so I think he'll have an idea today, and I have a chance to play against his brother a lot. He says both Chris and Brandon are amazing hard workers, undrafted and late to starting hockey, late teens, I believe. That's actually pretty interesting considering the fact for myself personally, I didn't start playing hockey and I actually didn't start playing in a game until I got into high school. So I can definitely resonate with, being somebody who decided to play hockey at a much later age, because a lot of people tend to want to, if you want to play hockey or play any sport, you usually start when you're about 4, 5, 6 years old, and you kind of just play a lot, as you get older. But for some of us, they ended up, playing when they're 14, 15, 16 years old. Everybody just gets the sports bug, gets the hockey bug at different times. For me personally, I think I didn't even start learning how to skate till I was about I want to say I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. I was something along those lines. This was like just before, I want to say like a year before I went to high school. So it's in Canada, it's like 2 years old. Yeah, I feel like everybody in Canada, when they're born with a hockey stick in their hand. So, I mean, I think that's just how it goes up there. And also, by the way, for anybody from Canada, I know obviously my boy Ish is from, I want to say a quick belated happy Thanksgiving to all of my Canadian friends across the border. Hope you guys had a tremendous Thanksgiving and you had a lot of fun and had the opportunity to spend time with friends and family as the Tampa Bay Lightning have struck again. It's now 4-2 as Alex Killorn scores on a one-timer with 3:11 to go in this game. So in the span of about 2.5 minutes, we've had 3 goals. So now here late in the third, we're starting to see some more goals here. So we'll see if the Tampa Bay Lightning find a way to see if they can make some sort of crazy comeback as Jari went right through his legs, the 5-hole. That's the one place, speaking as a former goaltender myself, that's the one type of goal you always want to have back. And it's hard, but you gotta try to keep your stick on the ice at all times. Chris Canale, who actually is the general manager of the Philadelphia Revolution, which is a junior hockey team in South Jersey, was my goalie coach. He taught me from start to finish how to play the position and really did a tremendous job of developing me from a guy who didn't know how to skate to all of a sudden I was able to look pretty, half decent more or less in net. The first thing he taught me right away was to keep your stick on the ice at all times. And that's something that I've learned, and that's something that I assess all the time when I watch goaltenders. When they give up a 5-hole goal, the first thing I look for is that, did they keep their stick on the ice? And even if you have it somewhat on the ice, you have to have it firmly on the ice, because if you don't, you're going to end up giving up a soft goal anyway. So that's kind of the biggest tip I would give to any goalies that are watching this right now and are watching these games. You got to keep your stick on the ice at all times, as the Penguins have scored another empty netter. It's Evan Rodriguez scoring this one. And once again, the Penguins have regained the 3-goal lead. It's 5-2 with 2:25 to go in this one. Isha saying, you were a goalie. How am I not surprised? I've had people in the past have asked me like right away, like, did you play hockey? Like, or were you a goalie? And I don't know what it is. I guess it's just the way that I look, I would present myself. But yeah, I did play goalie for a couple of years. I played one spring league for my high school, and that was pretty much it. Once I got my first win, and my only win, basically, I think that was kind of it, because I knew obviously I wasn't going to play after high school, but just the fact that I was able to get on the ice, play the position that I really love, and play the sport that I love, that's really all I could ask for. And I still actually have the puck from my first and only win in my room. So I keep that as a very, very, very much of a prized possession, and I'm very happy about that. Once again, the Lightning have the empty net with 2 minutes to go. So the Penguins will have an opportunity to put up a 6th goal on the Tampa Bay Lightning in this one. So, I mean, and now the Penguins got the puck, they dump it in, and they score again. So it's 6-2 with 1:49 to go in this one. This is ugly. That is an ugly way. And again, obviously, we're going to be talking about the Vegas Golden Knights Seattle Kraken game, but we're still waiting for this one to mercifully come to an end. And so a lot of Lightning fans, don't panic. It's the first game of the year. Nobody goes 82-0-0. It's just a tough way to start the year when you're at home, you raise the banner, you have a full crowd for the first time in 2 years, and you end up coming out very, very flat, and you end up, even with scoring 2 goals here in the third, you still got outscored in the third period. So it's not exactly how you want to look. So it's unfortunate. But this game will be coming to an end in about 90 seconds, and then we will get ready for the main event, which is obviously what you guys are here for, to watch with us the Seattle Kraken in their first ever game, their first official game in the NHL against the most recent expansion team, the Vegas Golden Knights. And, obviously Vegas has done a very good job presentation-wise of getting of really just attracting, new hockey fans. I know I've met several people that are from the Vegas area that didn't really know hockey that well, but once watching the Golden Knights, particularly in their first year and what they were able to accomplish, it made hockey fans for life. And it's great because it just grows the sport. And I think with all of the NHL players being allowed to go to the Olympics this year, it will just continue to grow it, not only here in North America, but all over the world. And I'm just super excited to see that. And I know obviously he's just watching, but I really do hope that we get an opportunity to do some live watch-alongs of some of those games. Yes, I'll have to get up at the butt crack of dawn, but I think it'll be totally worth it, especially if me being an American, if Team USA can make a really good run, at least at a medal. I know that sounds like I'm shorting Team USA, but for them just to get a medal, I think would be kind of an accomplishment considering the fact that the last two Olympics we have not been able to achieve. But we have a lot of talent coming in this year, and I'm looking forward to it. And also, by the way, guys, again, like I said, my name is Neil Villapiano. I'm the host of the Devils State of Mind podcast, which covers the New Jersey Devils. If you have any questions even about the Devils or literally any team in the NHL, ask away, and I will definitely answer them because I am obviously a diehard Devils fan, but I'm also a passionate hockey fan, and I'm willing to answer any of those questions. Dude, if USA and Canada play, I'll get on camera with you. Yes, absolutely, Isha. We got to get on together, and we're going to have a blast. Obviously, it'll be a little bit earlier for you than it would be for me to watch this game, to watch these games. But again, I think all of us just having the opportunity to watch Olympic hockey with NHL players again is something that we're all, like I said, really, really looking forward to. We also just got word from the Score. I'm literally checking this on my phone. It says, Cal Yarncroc, only Seattle player in protocol after 5 were on list Monday. So the Kraken now have been able to get every player except Cal Yarncroc, back. So they'll be a little bit more healthy going into this game, which is a relief, as we're now 25 seconds away or so from the start of the Seattle Kraken Vegas Golden Knights game. You say, man, Sochi watch parties in the middle of the night were so much fun. Oh yeah, they were absolutely fun. I had the opportunity to, obviously got up and, watch these games. And this was when I was still in high school. And you can imagine how tired I was, getting up so early, watching those games and then going to school right afterwards. It was tough, but it was totally worth it. And I remember being in school when Canada played Team USA in the semifinals with the winner going to the gold medal game. And that was like right in the middle of school. So a lot of my friends who are hockey fans, we were constantly trying to sneak and look at our phones. Some people actually even had the game on their phones while class was going on because that's just how passionate we were. And obviously that was something that we really, really wanted to see. But once we figured it out, that the game that Canada won, all of us, because we're all American, we were obviously pretty disappointed. Josh Deming saying go Canada. Yeah, thanks for that. The funny thing about working here at the Hockey Pod Network is that the majority of the guys, well, not all of them, but a good amount of them are obviously good old Canadian boys. And it's tough sometimes when you're on some podcasts that are all Canadian guys and you're talking about the United States and they want to take as much time as possible to completely crap on the team. It's great. So they finally shifted to the Vegas Golden Knights Seattle Kraken game. John Buchagras and Brian Boucher are on the call for this one. Buchagras, obviously the head honcho when it comes to broadcasting hockey. He's been doing it a lot with college hockey, doing the Frozen Four. Really passionate, really good guy when it comes to, talking hockey. I'm definitely going to try to reach out to him to see if he can come on the Double State of Mind podcast, because that would be great. He just has a great personality. And obviously if you're watching on ESPN, you're watching this on TV, already Vegas has, a light show going on. The presentation is phenomenal. AJ Maletzko, who also covers the New York Islanders, is going to be the on-ice reporter. And again, it's exciting because we have ESPN, we also have TNT, and it'll be very intriguing to see how they continue to present the sport of hockey through ESPN and TNT, throughout the season. So that's something that we're definitely all going to be watching this year. He's just saying, when Canada beat Sweden for gold, it started snowing as the sun rose. It was so epic. I skipped all my university classes that day. That's a pretty good day. And I feel like, Ish, I think you could probably confirm that you were probably not the only one that was doing that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to welcome on the other man that is joining me here today doing this live watch along. Please welcome on Ryan from the Star Podcast. Ryan, what is going on, my friend?
Hey, it's going good, man. How you doing? Doing okay?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I've been on here for about a half hour or so, obviously entertaining the masses until you got on. But my first question to you, Ryan, is simply this. Just talking as a hockey fan, how excited are you to finally have hockey back?
The full 82 game schedule is what I'm most excited for, more than anything. I'm beyond excited. Just the fact that we have 32 teams in the NHL too. We get another expansion team in Seattle. That's going to be really exciting to kind of look at and see how this team does. And especially in the Pacific Division with how open it is, and they could finish as high as second I've seen and as low as sixth. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this whole season to see how this goes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very fascinating year for not just the Kraken and the Golden Knights, but literally for so many teams in the NHL this year. And the fact that I've talked about it earlier, that the fact that we have, full capacity for the most part in most of these NHL arenas and having fans back is obviously something great. Dylan Kaiser saying he should skip all his university classes every day. Well, that makes a lot of sense. But you know what? He's built such a great network here at the Hockey Podcast Network. So I guess it all kind of worked out for the best. Isha's saying, as it will let me show, why will it not let me show here as I'm trying to, but Isha's saying, Ryan, what's up, brother? There you go. I can see it now.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Isha's saying, what's up to you, Ryan?
It's going good.
Yeah, definitely. Isha's definitely going to be watching this game. The crackheads versus the Vegas degenerates, as he put it earlier. So that's kind of that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at with this one. I don't know. I told him. I said I don't know if we would have been allowed to put that as our title on YouTube.
I wish.
Maybe we could
so
use
funny.
I think we could put it on for something else. But Josh Deming asking Ryan, what's your score prediction, my friend?
Oh, that's hard, man. Well, so for those of you that don't know, the actual first game against for the Golden Knights was actually against the Stars, and the Stars actually ended up losing that game. So I'm just gonna go with the flow and say Seattle wins 4-2. How about that?
Oh,
Seattle 4-2.
So you are just the second person so far that has said Seattle's win. Most people got Vegas, including myself. I said Vegas 5-4 in overtime. We did get a lot of goals in the first game between the Penguins and the Lightning, but it was obviously what I would call garbage time since it was mostly empty net goals. As the Penguins ended up winning 6-2, which was really – I really don't think anybody saw that coming, honestly. I don't think anybody saw Pittsburgh doing that well, particularly in that third period, really kind of shutting it down.
Well, I mean, they didn't have – oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, and it's really surprising how they did. I was kind of keeping track of it while I was at work, but you got to think about all the players they don't have right now. They don't have Sidney Crosby. They don't have Jake Gensel. They don't have Evgeny Malkin. I mean, and the list piles up. I think Jeff Carter was their first line center tonight. So the fact that they pulled that out is a big deal.
Carter, I think it was Jeff Carter, and I think Brian Boyle, who literally signed a PTO before the season started, was on the top six. So that kind of shows you a little bit how depleted the Penguins were going into this. But if they can get off to a good start while Malkin and Crosby recover, they should be in really good position to make a run at finishing in the top of the Metropolitan Division and making the playoffs. So I think that's something that we're all definitely interested to see what Mike Sullivan can do. Dylan Kaiser saying here, I don't know why he's saying this. He's saying we need a piano solo from Ryan.
It's the piano in the background.
Oh, I see now. I mean, hey, they're doing the national anthem right now, Ryan. If you want to get on the piano real quick and do a little bit for us before this starts, that would be great.
Oh, maybe another time. I'm not quite prepared for that, but I'll think about that next time.
Fair enough. All right. So as you can see, we're getting some more comments in. And again, thank you guys so much for doing this with us and being part of this watch along. We greatly appreciate it. I'm Neil Villapiano. That's Ryan Chambers. hosts the Devils State of Mind podcast, which covers the New Jersey Devils, and Ryan covers the Dallas Stars. And the Dallas Stars are obviously going to have, I don't know if Ryan, you more or less could speak on this. I can, but I feel like the Stars are kind of in a weird position where they could potentially make the playoffs, but they also could potentially just fall out. Like, where do you personally see this team doing this year?
The Stars specifically. I mean, if you look at other if you look at all over the board, everybody's got them everywhere. I think generally most people believe that they're going to be a playoff team, but they're going to be a bubble-in playoff team, if that makes any sense. This is it. This is it for the Stars, in my opinion, with this core, with the Jamie Benn, the Alexander Radulov core. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be gone after this season. I'm a little bit more bullish on them than most. So me and Chris actually did our own preseason rankings, and I actually had the Stars getting second in the division. I think they're a little bit of a dark horse in the Central Division, and the only thing that I'm really worried about is goaltending, and obviously that's the only thing, goaltending. But I think with I really think that with Braden Holtby coming in and playing behind a better defense, I think that's going to help. That's going to help the Stars, one, and it's also going to help Braden Holtby's numbers go up. So I've literally got them second, and I just don't see how they finish any lower than fourth, I guess is what you could also say. So second to fourth is where I've got them.
No, I think that's very good. I think it's they're definitely a team that could definitely make some noise in the Central Division. Isha actually says the Stars are second in the division. So that is what Isha believes when you look at that. Isha also says New York State of Mind. Yes, I know. Okay, it's the first game of the season. Give me a break. Let me have let me figure this out. I'm still learning about StreamYard. And actually, as we're talking here, the game has just started, and already we have a penalty. I'm not exactly sure who it is, but Jordan Eberle just missed a wide open net as he fell down, and it looks like the Seattle Kraken are on power play. So right away, just 30 seconds in, the Kraken get their first shot at their first ever power play. So, Ryan, my question to you as we're watching this, what is the biggest thing you're looking forward to with the Seattle Kraken just this entire season?
As a Stars fan, I love to see Jamie Alexiak get a bigger role. He was still top 4 in Dallas, but I think he'll be even more relied upon in an expansion team and as big as he is. But I think the most excited thing I'm actually looking forward to is actually Philip Grubauer, believe it or not. And I'm mostly saying that because I think he gets really undervalued and underrated. And I think a lot of people looked at him in Colorado and they're like, oh, well, he's playing behind a really good defense and a bullish team and the greatest team arguably in the NHL. So I'm really honestly excited to see how Philip Grubauer does in front of it. It's honestly a really good defense that Seattle has. If there's anything that's really strong about Seattle, it's their top 6 with their defense. I mean, when you got Jeremy Lauzon and Mark Giordano, Jamie Alexiak, I mean, just to name a few, Vince Dunn is in the top 4 as well. So
Adam Larson as well.
There's another one, Adam Larson as well. So I mean, it's just a huge amount of players. So that's mostly what I'm excited for is the play of Philip Grubauer. See if it's going to stay the same or not.
Yeah, and just as you mentioned, Mark Giordano had a really good shot right in the slot. Seattle's looked pretty good on this power play as it's coming to an end with about 10 seconds to go. And, it's definitely going to be a point of strength for Seattle when it comes to their defense. I think Ron Francis wants this team to focus squarely on, defense and go from there and build the scoring moving forward. So I think that's something that definitely is a main focal point for the Seattle Kraken. He's just saying, dude, their lineup was hilarious tonight. Yeah, I mean it's been weird. And also, like, I don't know about you, Ryan, because I don't know how much you had a chance to see the first game on ESPN. it seems like to me, I'm not trying to really criticize ESPN right away, but it kind of feels like that they're not fully with it yet. They've had some pretty weird technical difficulties and things like that, and the presentation has been okay. I mean, like, what do you think so far? I know it's early, but and just before you say it, Ryan, Max Pacioretty scoring on a nice pass from the left side as he beats Philip Grubauer. So just 3 minutes into the game, the Vegas Golden Knights have already scored. So it's already looking a little rough for the Seattle Kraken.
Well, there goes my my bullish, excitedness for Philip Grubauer already.
And I have him on fantasy, so I'm like, well, that's not a good start. It's like, why did I it's just, Grubauer going from his left to his right. He may have skated a little bit too far to the left side, and he left a big wide opening on the far right. And so Pacioretty scored. So again, it is now 1-0 Vegas here as they get off to a good start, and they're hoping for a good start basically like this entire year. And they just want to prove that they're going to go from there. But yeah, going back to my question before, Ryan, what do you think of ESPN's presentation so far?
And maybe I should go back a little bit further even. Well, first off, it's been 17 years since they've had hockey. So like you said, we need to give them a little bit of time to kind of figure out what they need to do. But I would give them maybe a couple of weeks, and then we should expect them to have good, clear broadcasts. But even going back to the draft, there was a lot of people that were saying that the draft was not very well broadcasted by ESPN. And I mean, I thought it was okay. I didn't feel like it was fantastic or anything like that. But, I really think we just need to give them a little bit of time to kind of just figure out what they need to do, get the technical glitches out of the way. Again, it is opening night. So I think we just need to calm down a little bit about all of that stuff. But I'm honestly really excited for ESPN to come back. The first thing I did when I found out that ESPN got the package A or whatever Gary Bettman called it. Yeah. And the first thing I did is I went on YouTube and played the NHL and ESPN theme from the early 2000s.
Nice.
Because that is literally what I grew up with, right? And I just remember Gary Thorne when Brett Hull scored the Stanley Cup winning goal, and he's going, score, score. The Stars have won the Stanley Cup. The Stars are shining. And it's one of the greatest moments of my life. And I was only 6 at the time, and I still remember that. So ESPN holds like a really special place in my heart when it comes to hockey. So I was really excited for them to get the rights back to the NHL.
I'll tell you this. I enjoyed Gary Thorne's call in 2000 when the Devils
oh man,
you knew being a Devils fan, and obviously I
knew that was coming.
Yeah, you knew
I knew that was coming.
You knew that was coming. But no, I mean that Gary Thorne is obviously one of the best voices of hockey of all time. I would really love to see ESPN bring him in, because right now he doesn't have a job, and he didn't say he was retiring or anything. So that's something that I would hope to like to see, but maybe they'll do it maybe next year. They want to see how things work this year with everything planned, and maybe kind of expand from there. Got a bunch of different, comments. And again, thank you guys so much for all of your comments. He's just saying, Brian, I guess he said Boyle. I think he meant to say Boyle. Has 12 brothers and sisters, by the way. Crazy fact I saw on Twitter. I don't know how to feel about that, Brian. I really don't.
Oh, man.
I guess, I mean, the only other person that I think can top him is maybe Philip Rivers in the NFL, who obviously was in the NFL, because I think he had something like 10 kids. He had something crazy like that. Or he has something crazy like that. Not that he has something crazy like that. So that's kind of, I don't know how to feel about that, but I'm sure all of his 12 brothers and sisters are happy with the nice goal that he scored earlier tonight. As Seattle right now showing a little bit of aggression in the offensive zone as they're trying to see if they can get one back here and try to even this up. And I'm definitely curious to see, Ryan, who ends up being the first goal scorer ever, technically speaking, in Seattle Kraken history. There's a lot of different guys that you can guess. I don't know if that was something that you could bet on, but if you did, hopefully you use THPN on DraftKings with the promo. We would really appreciate that. Dylan saying THPN is doomed. If I'm the brains, Isha. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I mean that's they're having a lot of fun in this chat, as you can clearly see. Most of the comments I think are from either Dylan or Isha, so I think that's something there. Dylan also says, Ryan, I want you to play Still Dr. Dre on the piano next stream. Oh, that would be great. I don't know. I feel like we'd get copyrighted for that, but I feel that would be such a great thing to hear.
Oh, man. That would take a little bit of time to try and figure that out.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of those videos that just show like kids playing it at like a homecoming or something like that as an opportunity here. And Marchessault with an open net taps it in, and it's 2-0 Vegas. Marchessault catching Grubauer out of position, and then with the backhand just taps it in. So the Vegas Golden Knights, just 6.5 minutes in, Ryan, are already up 2-0. This looks like the beginning of what could be a very long night for Seattle.
I really hope not. Based off my prediction, I'm you know what? They're gonna score 4 unanswered right now. How about that?
I'm banking on it. And look, I can't afford Grubauer to give up any more goals. I mean, I don't want to lose already in fantasy when I've barely gotten off the ground. So I'd like to. And we were talking about how like strong the defense of Seattle is. It's not looking so good so far.
Not really.
I guess you could say it's more or less a wake-up call for Seattle, like welcome to the NHL.
And I think a little bit is nerves, because if you watch the defense, they're making a lot of like right there. That was just a really bad turnover, right? I mean, he was easily, I don't know who was there in the corner, but he was clearly overtaken. It looked elementary. It looked like they were playing Pee-wee out there. So I really think it's just a matter of just getting the nerves down. I mean, you're an expansion team. You're not expected to do much. This is your first year. You've never played. None of these guys have ever played with each other ever in the history of ever. And
right.
I think it's just a lot of nerves are getting to them, and they're not really. I think they're just gripping their sticks a little bit too tightly. I mean, they just need to relax and try and play the game. So. I mean, they really are gifting up the puck to Vegas right now, and Vegas will, with the guys that they have, they've got guys that can score 3 lines deep, and you can't do that to Vegas and allow them to even get anywhere close to taking pucks away like that. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be expected to change or what they're going to do. I guess the easy thing to say is just don't turn the puck over.
Yeah, and then luckily, obviously, they're going to a commercial break, so it'll give a chance for Hackstall to kind of, calm his guys down and say, all right, look, all of you guys have played in the NHL before, obviously not together as a team. Let's just, relax. Let's get back to playing the way that we're capable of playing and kind of go from there. So Steven Masters saying to Ryan, how about a Billy Joel Piano Man? We're really just going to harp on this today, aren't we? We're really just going to harp on
it. Actually, Steven kind of hit a bullseye on that. I can actually play Piano Man on the piano. So I can.
Well, there we go. So we could put that down on the list of the songs that you can perform for us at one point or another. There we go. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear.
I was going to start turning into a concert.
Dylan asking, what's the ceiling for the Stars this year? I think you basically talked about it earlier. I mean, they're kind of, I guess, would it be fair to say, just to kind of like be more or less short, would it be fair to say the Stars are kind of like, 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of team where maybe they can make the playoffs, maybe they won't kind of thing, right?
I really don't know, and it's probably just because I'm biased. Most people say that. I don't. And maybe that's because I'm more into the team, and a lot of the things that I see seem to be good. And I probably am being biased, but I just don't see how the Stars don't make the playoffs. And based off of my own predictions, even if they get 5th in the division, I still think the Central sends 5 teams and the Pacific sends 3. That's so. Assuming even Dallas makes it gets the 5th seed and gets the 2nd wild card in the Central Division, they would end up going and playing in the Pacific Division quarterfinals, whatever you want to call them, and then they would end up playing. They would end up playing Vegas in the first round, assuming Vegas gets first in the Pacific, which it really is Vegas's division to lose. If they don't win the division,
Right.
it's a terrible thing for Vegas. So if we want to talk about a ceiling, I really think second is the highest. I don't see them getting over Colorado unless somehow Hudobin finds like some sort of magic that he did when he was in the 2020 bubble playoffs. I don't know how that guy played that way in the playoffs, but we would have to see something like that in order for the Stars to get first. So I think the highest ceiling for the Stars is second.
I think it's a very good evaluation. I mean, the Stars still have a tremendous amount of talent. Goaltending is definitely going to be something that obviously you, Ryan, and everybody's going to be keeping their eye on. But I think if everything just works the way that it's projected to be, I think you're definitely right. I think the Stars are definitely a playoff team, and if they don't make the playoffs, that would be very surprising and definitely somewhat disappointing. Dylan also saying, "Damn those jerseys," talking about Seattle's. Yeah, I mean, Seattle has some really good jerseys, top 5 jersey in the league. I think you could make an argument, honestly, for it. I think and especially with these white ones that Seattle's wearing right now, they look really good and really clean. And I'm sure that they've been flying off the shelves since they were put out. Ryan, what do you think? Top 5 jersey in the league already?
I don't know, man. I'll say top 10 for sure. I don't know about top 5. I think top 10 is fair.
Yeah, I think top 10 is fair.
Yep. And I don't even know if Dylan means like what are the top 5 jerseys in the league, or if he's saying that Seattle is one of the top 5 jerseys in the league.
I think he's more or less asking, is Seattle's jerseys, or at least maybe the white ones, top 5 jerseys in the league? The white ones.
I actually prefer their colored ones more than their white ones.
Yeah, the home
I really
ones.
do.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, those.
No, I obviously know what you meant, because it's either white or color that makes sense. And no, I mean, for me personally, like I'm not always the biggest fan of like white jerseys, but for some reason with this one, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's with like the dark blue as well, in the lettering and everything like that. It looks like it just blends in really well. Yeah, I think you could make an argument for top 5. You could certainly put them in top 10. I think that look, Vegas, when they first came in the league, it was kind of the same thing. They had like top 5 jerseys, and I think it's mainly due to the fact that it's new and it's the new team and everybody wants to get their hands on one. But just presentation wise, I think Seattle's done a pretty good job so far with regards to with their logo and everything like that. And I think that that's really something that it's good. So Isha actually has a question for us. He says, how many goals does Jordan Eberle score this year? That's a really good question. Ryan, I'll let you answer that first. What do you think?
That's actually a hard question because, Eberle did score for the Islanders. I can't remember if he's been a 30-goal scorer in the past. I don't think he eclipses 30, but I also think he's easily going to eclipse 20 on this team where he's going to be asked to fill a role where he's going to score a bunch of goals. So I'm going to say 25 to 30 is where I think he ends up at the end of the year, because they're going to need him to score.
And to answer your question, because I looked it up really quickly on Pro Hockey Reference or a Hockey Reference, the only time that Jordan Eberle scored 30 goals was in the 2011-2012 season. His second year in the league, he had 34.
Okay.
He has not eclipsed 20 goals since 17-18, his first year with the New York Islanders. The last 3 years have been 19, 16, and then 16. So obviously, even at his age, he's still able to produce a lot of goals. He obviously maybe he's not the same consistent goal scorer, but for me personally, I think because of the fact that he's playing a lot of top 6 minutes this year, it being an expansion team, and they're going to need his goal scoring a lot when it comes to the fact that they lack a lot of goal scoring support. I could see Eberle eclipse at least like maybe 25 goals. I wouldn't put it past him. I think he does have the potential, especially in an 82-game season. So I think that's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. And it's about we're a little bit after more than halfway through this first period. Vegas is up 2-0 on goals from Max Pacioretty and Jonathan Marchessault, as Seattle's still looking for their first official goal of their history. And Vegas is also sporting their All-Star game patches because, Ryan, as you know, and as a lot of people know, the All-Star game this year will be held in Vegas. That should be a lot of fun, considering the fact that it's just that we're going to have an All-Star game, and also that it's going to be played in a very, very glamorous city in Vegas.
I think it's a great idea. Having it in Vegas, it just makes sense. It's one of the entertainment capitals of the world. I'd put it up there with Abu Dhabi and and all these other entertainment capitals around the world. I think presentation-wise, Vegas is one of the best teams when it comes to pregame presentations. I so wish the Stars did stuff like that Vegas does. They do such a great job really getting the crowd into the game and getting them pumped up and ready to go. Let me get back to one of your questions that you kind of mentioned earlier, and I think this would be interesting to get your take on this too. Mm-hmm. But as to who the first goal scorer for the Seattle Kraken would be, I have an answer, but I'm curious of who you think it would be.
This is tough, but I'm actually going to say Mark Giordano. I think Giordano's going to score on the power play. I think Seattle's going to get another opportunity, and I think he's going to be at the top of the point, and he's going to, through a screen, he's going to be able to get one. So I think Mark Giordano, the captain of the Kraken, is going to end up being the first goal scorer.
I'm going to go with somebody who I actually took on, not on our THPN fantasy, but there's another fantasy league I'm a part of with mostly Stars fans who are in like a little group chat on Twitter. I'm going to go with Jared McCann.
That's actually not bad. I think Jared McCann has a lot to prove.
He does. Considering
the fact he goes from Pittsburgh, gets traded to Toronto, and then basically, I'm sure they told him that, look, we kind of traded for you so we could protect Kerfoot. So you're probably most likely the one that's going to be left unprotected in the expansion draft. And I'm sure he was like, it's whatever. And he gets to – I feel like he'll get a lot more minutes playing in Seattle.
Yeah, he is the second line center for Seattle. He really is. And I just think with the focus that's going to go on to that first line, because I think the way Vegas kind of did their game plan is you focus on the first line, you can shut down the scoring. So that's going to allow players who are on that second line, like Jared McCann, to possibly maybe make a push to get that first goal for Seattle. So we'll see. I don't know.
We shall see. Isha is telling you, Ryan, intermission show. So I think he's asking you once again if you could play maybe Piano Man or something along those lines during the intermission. So if that's something you want to do, you could we could definitely see that. If obviously if you want to, my friend. So
I'm down. I'll do it. All
right, cool. So there you go, Ish. We got some musical entertainment. We got an intermission show for you guys. Exactly. So you want to stick around for that. So now we got Isha also saying the guy who is not a big fan of white jerseys is wearing one. Not by choice, Isha. Not by choice. But yes, I get that. I can get roasted for that. Great. Robert Tuckman saying go Rangers. As a Devils fan, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble. Everything that I would say, I don't think is appropriate for this stream. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Steven Master saying Podman sucks. Yeah, why are we getting Rangers fans and Islander? What is going on?
I don't know.
Let's hear it. Here we go. Oh no, a Rags fan has entered the chat. Oh my God. Wait, where did this come from? Like now we're getting all right. I'm hoping that at some point during this live watch along, Ryan, that we get literally one fan from all 32 teams. We just have a whole bickering session in the comments. I want to see that at some point.
Hey, put me in a chat with a Nashville Predators fan, and I'm good to go. Or a Blues fan, I'm good to go. Either one of them. Ooh. Oh,
yeah, for me, it's like if you put me in a group chat with all of the New York metropolitan teams, it's gonna be interesting because you got the Devils, Rangers, Flyers, Islanders, and even Buffalo if we really want to consider them part of the area, but we don't, considering they play in the Atlantic Division. Which I guess is I still don't get that. I don't know why. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I guess
I was
because they're
just
just
about to
like
say
further
that.
away. I don't get like why they're in the. They should be in the Metropolitan Division because of it. Like I'm not criticizing Carolina by any means, but it just kind of feels like that they're a little bit more, I don't know, further away from everybody. But that's just. I'm not saying we have to do any realignment. It just like with Buffalo, it's a little weird. As we're actually getting a penalty here, Ryan. It looks like it's going to be against the Seattle Kraken. I don't know who 24 is off the top of my head. I'm still learning who are these numbers.
Yeah.
But with 6:45 to go here in the first period, with it already being 2-0 Vegas, the Golden Knights are going to the power play. So this is going from bad to worse, and it could get really ugly if Vegas can score. If Vegas scores here, so I don't know. It just seems like Seattle's still playing with a lot of nervous energy. That's the way that I'm looking at it.
24 is actually Jamie Alexiak,
Oh,
former
former
Dallas
Stars.
Star.
Did he take a lot of penalties like that when he was with the Stars?
Not really, to be honest with you. He was really good and solid defensively, mostly. He played a lot with Miro Heiskanen. So I mean, when you're playing with Miro Heiskanen, you got to kind of lean back more on the defensive side and let Miro Heiskanen do Heiskanen-y things, if that makes any sense.
That was a great description of what Miro Heiskanen does. He does Heiskanen things. I like that.
But what we have seen from Alexiak is that he can do things like Heiskanen can. He's got hands. He just doesn't use it very much. Most of the time, he's using it to punch another guy's face in more than anything. So
that's pretty good. I'm sure Seattle will appreciate that as the season progresses. We'll see if he gets into some scrums. Isha's saying first intermission, Ryan needs to play some Billy Joel. So yeah, that's what we're getting at the intermission, which is coming up in about 5.5 minutes or so. So make sure you guys stick around for that. And again, like and subscribe to the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel, THPN. You guys are on here right now. We would greatly appreciate it. We have a lot of exciting hockey content. As a breakaway here for Tanev, and a nice poke check by Robin Leonard denies him. So nearly a shorthanded goal for Isha's boy, Brandon Tanev. But he gets denied by the poke check of Robin Leonard, and it remains 2-0 with 30 seconds to go on the power play and about 5 minutes to go here in the first. Good opportunity right there for Seattle, nearly getting themselves their first goal.
Well, he probably didn't give him the eyes like he does the camera sometimes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That was a big-time save right there by Philip Grubauer, right in the slot. As it looks like it was Nolan Patrick, the former second overall pick in 2017, in his first game as a Golden Knight, mind you, who almost scored there. And again, they're showing the replay. And again, I don't know. It kind of looks like to me right on the replay that maybe Tanev just lost the puck. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see in real time there.
Yeah. I couldn't. It was hard to tell as well. I just need to. I need to get another better look at that. But it looked like it just kind of fell off his stick. And again, it's another look to see that they're just gripping their sticks too tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just flapped on it. He just missed it.
He just missed it. Yeah, I saw another replay just now. He kind of whiffed at it. Yeah, I think Seattle feels the pressure of wanting to come out here on a national stage and perform well and look good. But look, the reality is that they are an expansion team, much more of an expansion team really than what Vegas was coming out of the gate. And this is what you're going to see. And look, they're going to win. They're going to win games. They're not going to be completely awful. They're not going to be the worst team in the NHL. That's Buffalo. We all know that. It's not going to change. Seattle's more talented than Buffalo is right now, and this is just a fact. And yeah, that might be shade on Buffalo, but you got to deal with it.
So just to piggyback on that real quick, because I hear a lot of people complaining about the fact that Seattle has such a great team. When my team entered the league in such and such year, they didn't have as good a team as this, and there's a couple of reasons why they do that. First off, they're paying $650 million. All right, so to enter the league, so. Yep. The owners don't care. They're getting a bunch of money out of it in return for letting the team take one of their players.
Right.
But the second thing is, and it's if you go back and you look at the success of the expansion teams, the ones that have done better are the ones that had success more early. And that's the main thing is you want these teams that come in to have at least some success. You don't want them to sit there and crap out. I mean, it's no good. So you gotta allow the team, okay, maybe go through some growing pains, but you don't want them to be completely terrible. Then whatever location they're in, nobody's gonna want to watch them because they suck, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, even if it is a quote unquote hockey city like Seattle is, Seattle is a hockey city, whether people want to believe it or not, it is. And I mean, they'll watch for a period of time because it's all brand new and everything. But if the team sucked, I mean, they're not going to sit there and stick around. So I mean, I think Gary. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, Gary Bettman learned from the experiences specifically in Atlanta. And it happened twice. It was bad both times. First it was the Flames, and then it was the Thrashers. And neither time it worked because the team that they put there wasn't good. So I mean, and even the Atlanta Thrashers had one of the greatest electrifying players at the time. They had Kovalchuk at the time. So I mean, it still didn't do him any good. They couldn't market him. So it's just a matter of making sure that the team has at least I don't know what's the word I'm thinking of. Competitive, I guess is a good word to use rather than that's a good word to use. Suckish or whatever. So
no, I mean this. Look, I was talking about this prior to the game that Seattle's gonna have they're gonna have their struggles like every expansion team except Vegas really. You're gonna have your struggles. Right. They're the one exception that will never happen again because if the NHL has that happen again, it's just not gonna look good. The thing about it is that regardless of anything, those fans are gonna be there every game because that's a passionate fan sports city in Seattle. They're still banging on the table for the Supersonics to come back. And I really do believe that the NBA is definitely considering it. And I think that they're looking at maybe the way I think they want to see how things work with the Kraken actually and the support that they get and kind of see if maybe they can bring them back because I think that would be really good for the NBA. Just talking about it from that perspective, but Seattle has a very loyal fan base when it comes to sports. Like I mentioned before, the Seattle Mariners, the Sounders, the Seattle Seahawks. Even the Seattle Storm of WNBA, one of the most successful franchises in women's sports. I mean, they're very, very good, and they have a tremendous fan base. So I think the same thing will be here. And I mean, when they have their first home game, it's going to be electrifying without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, well, you can't cheer for more than one team or whatever like that. But I'm totally against that. I mean, and this is just coming from a Stars fan. There are a lot of Stars fans that are actually fans of the Carolina Hurricanes, believe it or not. And just something random. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Like, a lot of Stars fans also cheer for the Hurricanes. So I will be cheering for the Kraken this year. I really will. I really will. I hope they do well.
There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I feel more okay dealing with the Kraken than I did when Vegas got into the league because, again, I just felt like Vegas just kind of was gifted a lot of things. Granted, I mean, there was some obviously things. Right. It's like they had all of that, and look at where they are now, several years into their existence. They haven't even gone through a legit rebuild in their history, which, I mean, they're obviously going to get to that point within the next 2 years. But
so you think it's that early?
Oh, I said it before you jumped on. Some people heard it that this is it. If they don't get it done this year, they're going to have to. They really will blow it up. I feel that because they've already crossed the line when how they treated Fleury, and a lot of these guys know that the organization, if they can get rid of a guy like that, they can get rid of anybody. And I think that that's kind of the situation that these guys are in.
That really does make me sick. What Vegas did to Fleury.
It was horrible.
Absolutely horrible.
I don't know if you saw, Ryan. I don't know if you heard, but apparently George McPhee, the GM of the Golden Knights, it came out like a couple days ago that he purposely made sure that Fleury only found out he got traded through Twitter as punishment because his GM crapped on the team for mistreating Fleury, which is ridiculous.
Okay, so this is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, a Vezina winning goaltender. He will be in the Hall of Fame, first ballot, no questions asked. And 100%. You're going to treat him like dog crap like that. And not just that, but there's never going to be a player like Marc-Andre Fleury who is beloved as much as he is in 2 different franchises. I mean, there are very few players that are like that. The one I can think of is Wayne Gretzky, obviously, in Edmonton and the Los Angeles area. And then other than him, the only other person I can think of is Marc-Andre Fleury. And that's crap. That's absolute crap. I had not heard that, actually. So thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna have to go do some research on that.
Yeah, it's slowly coming out. It's just really where it is. Dylan saying Ryan is the headliner for the THPN halftime show. There we go. That's that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing. Ryan, you have another job now with the network.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I'm gonna have to start practicing more often, I guess.
A little bit, and hopefully you get a little bit more money from the good people at DraftKings as well for it. I mean, if we get rolling here, you might find another career, which would be which obviously would be phenomenal.
Exactly.
So there's a good wraparound chance there for the Kraken as they nearly were able to get it home, but it was denied. 20 seconds to go here in the first. Seattle is actually out shooting the Golden Knights 9-6, yet they trail 2-0 here. One last opportunity here for the Kraken as they still have it in the offensive zone, but Vegas clears it, and that is pretty much going to do it for the first period here in Vegas. So 2-0 Golden Knights, and that, like we said, Ryan, it's more or less a wake-up call and a welcome to the NHL moment for the Seattle Kraken as even though they outshot and maybe at times outchanced Vegas, they end up giving up 2 tough goals from Pacioretty and Marchessault respectively and trail by 2 after the first 20 minutes.
Yep. And one of the curious things I'm still interested in is how Philip Grubauer will bounce back in the second period. I especially the second goal, I don't think was his fault, but I really think that if he can close the door for the rest of the way, which I believe he can do, I believe Philip Grubauer can do that, then I think that he will give Seattle a really good chance of coming back and possibly winning in this game. And obviously this is going to be the other thing that I'm going to be looking forward to from the Seattle Kraken in the second period is who it going to be? Who's going to take this and score? Who's going to be the first one? So because all you really need is just one goal to get going. That's all you need, especially with a 2-0 lead. A 2-0 lead is the worst lead in hockey. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to. I'm going to be looking towards Jaden Schwartz. Or is he still in COVID protocol actually?
No, he's playing this game.
He is playing. So, okay. So,
yeah, I said, just before you jumped on, we got word that Kelly Yarncroc is now the only player on Seattle that is on the COVID protocol list. Everybody, the other 4 players are off it and I think are playing in this game. I'm not totally sure.
Right. I think Alexiak was on that list as well. Yeah, he was one of the 4. Yes. So, okay. So I will be looking towards those guys. I mean, somebody's got to score. Somebody's got to do it. And you're looking at Jordan Eberle, Jaden Schwartz. You're looking at, I'm not sure if Yanni Gourde is playing in this game or not. But if he is, then you're looking towards him for something. Yeah, I mean, you need some sort of spark from offensively from this team. And they had a couple chances, but not enough to beat Robin Lehner at his own game. So
100%. We're going to take a quick break here as we get a nice word from our lovely friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. think Dylan might have made that intro, that ad, but that was pretty good. And again, shout out to the guys at DraftKings for sponsoring this and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. We appreciate it. A couple more comments here. Gavino Villapiano, Messier beloved in Edmonton and New York.
Oh,
Messiah.
that's a good one.
That is a good one.
I can't believe I forgot about that. You were completely right. I cannot believe I forgot about that.
Yeah. Two different franchises he was able to lead to a cup, and I mean, hell, he helped break the Rangers curse.
Right, and that's one of my favorite, other than Joe Sakic handing the cup off to Ray Bork.
No, we don't talk about that. As a Devils fan, we don't talk about that year. That year that happened. I know. That didn't happen. That was BS. Scott Gomez's goal in Game 6 counted. It should have counted, but for some reason they didn't want to count it. Otherwise, Marty would have 4 cups, not one, which would debunk any debate at all that Marty isn't the greatest goaltender to ever play the position. Sorry, the Devils fan in me had to say that.
No. You know what? I'll piggyback on that real quick. I don't think Waugh is the greatest goaltender ever. I think Brodeur is better. And that's coming from an unbiased outside view from Waugh and from Brodeur. So,
but you had one of the better goalies of that era as well in Eddie Balfour, the Eagle, who was. I go back to, I think it was game 5 of 2000, where I think he made something like 45, 46, close to 50 saves in that double overtime. I remember. Think it was triple overtime. Yeah, it was, and I remember there was a mic'd up moment where the ref was saying to Eddie during the break, like, "You're giving everybody a heart attack there, Eddie," because he was making so many different saves, denying the Devils a chance to score a game-winning goal to win the cup then. But, you know, Balfour was a tremendous goalie in his time as well.
Yeah, the Stars have been very lucky where they've had really good goaltenders over the past 2 decades. And it really honestly started with Eddie the Eagle Balfour. Yeah. I still remember I can't remember what year it was. I think it was when they moved to American Airlines Center. So it was a couple years after they won the cup. And I think Eddie was still around. And you know those little the little mini mite shootouts that they do in intermission every once in a while? Yeah. I got to do that several times. And nice. I was actually one of the goalies, and he actually tapped my pads as he came off for the second intermission. So I will always remember that for the rest of my life. That was one of the coolest moments in my life, especially, you know, being a goalie and everything. It was cool. So
that is a really, really awesome story. That is tremendous. He's just saying Grizzlies over Sonics. Well, yeah, obviously you're from Vancouver Island, so of course you're going to say that.
Yeah, right? He's a little biased, right?
You can at least go to bed knowing that they still have that jersey as a 3rd or 4th jersey for the Grizzlies. Okay, we don't even have Supersonics jerseys. The Thunder don't even acknowledge the fact that they used to be the Sonics. So, you know, let's see it out there. He also says Messi can go to hell for stripping obviously in Vancouver. Okay.
That's the one part of Messier's career.
That part.
Yeah, that's the one part of Messier's career that Messier himself would probably want to forget. He was not very good in Vancouver. Maybe
that's why Trevor Linden and Messier still don't talk. But I could be just blue skying here. I could be just be going crazy. JJ DTV says, Neil, where did you get the Vegas jersey? All right, so here's what happened. Back in 17-18 was their first year, right? 17-18? Yeah. Their first year was 17-18. I just decided, you know what? Like, you know, why don't I go one? Like, and yes, Isha, I know I just crapped on white jerseys like a half hour ago, but I will tell you that I really like the white jersey, okay? And my ex-girlfriend who had gotten into hockey through me, she became a Devils fan. She wanted to find a second team. Me being a San Jose Sharks fan, I wanted to convince her to be Sharks fan. And she goes, no, I want to do something different. So she ends up choosing the newest team in the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights. So she goes with me to the store. She gets the home jersey, and I decided to be different, and I got the white one. I was going to get Fleury on the back, but now I'm really glad that I didn't, because otherwise this jersey would be basically worthless at this point.
I don't know
so-
about that.
well, it's, I have a very bad history with getting jerseys of players, and like either a year or so
Immediately they get
afterwards,
traded.
they get traded or they leave.
Yeah, right.
Honest story. I got a Phillip Rivers jersey, a Chargers Phillips jersey, as a joke from my friend. He gave because he's a Chargers fan, loves the Chargers. Maybe like 3 months later, he ends up on the Colts. So that worked. The best one by far. I got two more. Hockey one. My first ever hockey jersey, Scott Gomez Devils jersey. 2 days after, on my birthday,
he
traded. Signs with the Rangers.
No, he gets signed. That's right.
He signed with the Rangers.
I always think that he got traded to the Rangers, but no, he actually signed a pretty decent contract with the Rangers.
And just decided he wanted to go play for the Rangers. The best one though was 2 years ago. I decided I got a Tom Brady jersey, a white Patriots Tom Brady jersey. Mind you, not a Patriots fan. I'm a Giants fan. So what happens? 3 months later, he leaves the Patriots and goes to Tampa Bay. So if anybody wants to blame somebody for why people keep leaving and going to different places, it's probably because of me. So
okay,
I apologize.
So you know the solution for Jack Eichel, right? You just need to go buy a Jack Eichel jersey, and then like a week later, he'll get traded, right?
It's not a bad idea. Should I get it with the Captain C, though, even though he got stripped?
That was the dumbest thing ever to actually publicize. Hey, we stripped him of the C.
No, the best part was that we knew ahead of time. Oh, he's going to fail his physical. That's obvious. And because of that, we are going to strip him of the captain. And then they put out a statement saying, oh, the captain's badge is a badge of honor, blah, blah, blah. It's just, he needs to get traded at this point. I think it's just killing everybody. And I understand that Buffalo wants to get as much for him as possible. There is only one logical solution to this. Let him get that artificial hip that he keeps asking for, and all of your problems will be solved. Because the longer that you don't allow it to happen, the worse it's going to get. Because he's not going to do what the Sabres are asking him to do. He still wants to do what he wants to do. So this is the problem that we're in. And also the potential suitors are getting less and less. Just really quickly here, Isha was complaining that I didn't have wine with me. Yeah, I have it right here now. My dad just gave it to me. Is this all we have? Is this all we have, really? Was this 2009, right? Dad, is this 2009 or not?
No, that's 2000.
What year?
19.
This is 2019. All right.
It's not that good.
Any more of it? Can you give me the bottle? Because Isha otherwise is going to complain that I don't have wine in front of me at all times. Because, I don't know if you know, but like,
we're out.
we're out? All right, whatever. I don't know if you know, but like, ever since we did after hours, I drank, instead of drinking beer like everybody else does, I was drinking wine. And this is homemade wine that we make in my household every year, except obviously last year because of COVID. We make wine every year. So we get the grapes. No, we don't step on them like everybody assumes that we do. We actually use a press that is. How old is the press? Dad, how old's the press?
That right?
No, how old is the press that we use to make wine?
101 years.
101 years old.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So we just finished making the batches for this year. We're all pretty tired, really tired. I've never felt this tired before in my. I don't even remember the last time I was this tired. I'm still recovering. It does take a while, but by the way, the voice you guys are hearing is my dad, also one of the people who has been commenting, Gavino Villapiano, everybody's favorite Ginzo, as people like to call him, but also the supplier of wine. But there's this with that. But he also says, "Here come the hands." Well, yeah, I am Italian. What do you want? And here's the funny thing. Dylan was complaining before. He says, "Neil, I haven't seen enough hand movement. I'm sorry. All right, what do you want from me? All right, sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't." Dylan saying, "Papa Villapiano stealing the show." Yeah, that's what he does. He likes to be in it. Very cool. We need your dad on the Soda Pod to talk about it. Yeah, I'll actually ask him if he wants to come on. We could kind of go from there. I'm just trying to see. I try to get through all the comments as possible. Never buy a Kaprizov jersey.
That's the first thing I'm doing.
Should I just do it and see what happens?
Yeah, no, you need to do it. Do it.
All right. Sorry, that's what's
Get him
coming.
out of the Central Division.
Wait. What if I got a KHL Kaprizov jersey? Would that make it worse? Would that screw it? Like, would that just throw everything off?
It might actually.
Would he end up leaving the Wild to go back to the KHL like we all thought he was going to?
You know, I predicted this from the beginning with Kaprizov. He was never gonna leave. There's no. And you know, everyone's talking the whole time. When you look at the salary cap that they have in the KHL, it's like an eighth. It's like an eighth of what the NHL does. There's no way. No, that's a loophole.
That's a loophole. All right, so there we go. You can't get that.
But you know the reports that he had a double-digit $1 million contract that he was going to sign with SKA
For 1
Petersburg.
year, right? It was like 1 year.
No, it was never there.
I'm telling. I think it was like somewhere like 1 year, like $25-26 million, and I'm like,
whatever.
I'm like, oh wait, is that Vladimir Putin's money?
Right, exactly.
I believe that was from Putin's team that was asking for it. So, you just say Ryan's salary cap means nothing in the KHL. I guess it doesn't.
It doesn't mean anything in the NHL either.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Because clearly, like, we go into this offseason thinking, okay, like Tampa's screwed, Vegas is screwed, Colorado's screwed. Like, and speaking as a Devils fan, we have like $30 million in cap space. We're like, okay, we can go to town and we could just deprive everybody. Nope. Didn't happen.
That's not gonna happen.
Literally, the only trade that we made, we got Ryan Graves, which was good. I'm not saying that we needed to make more trades, but it was just like Tampa figured it out. Vegas figured it out. What is the point of the salary cap if everybody could just figure it out anyway? Why do we have so many loopholes in the salary cap? That is the other question. Why do we have so many loopholes that just prevent people from being punished? I mean, look at Major League Baseball. What do they? All they have is a luxury tax. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything.
And you know, there's a huge movement right now against the salary.
Oh no, this one was better. No, wait, no, this was good. No, this is good. The amount of rubles flying under the table in the KHL is astronomical.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that.
Well, it is Mother Russia, so you know, I'll just leave it at that.
Well, anyways, what I was gonna say is that there's a huge argument right now going on in the hockey world, and especially on hockey Twitter. I don't know about the other social media accounts, but especially in Twitter, what I'm seeing.
Gotta love hockey Twitter.
Yeah, and this was really happening when Tampa Bay was like $15 million over the cap in the playoffs or whatever. Oh, and there was a movement to just get rid of it. And you know what? At first, I was against it because I was like, you know what, it doesn't let the other teams be, competitive. You know, these smaller markets. You know, Dallas. If you're thinking up in Canada, you know, Winnipeg is definitely a smaller market compared to like Toronto or Calgary or Vancouver or whatever. Right. But the thing is, and the thing that it does terribly is that it punishes the good teams, right? Right. So, and you know, as much as people don't want to see the same team winning the Stanley Cup every year, if they're good enough to win the Stanley Cup every year, then they deserve that. They deserve that chance to have that. That's why the New York Islanders in the 80s won all those cups. That's why the Oilers in the 80s won all those cups, because they had those opportunities. They were dynasties. And now we don't see that anymore. We've seen two teams. I guess you could argue three. You could say that the Los Angeles Kings 2012-2014 Cups was quote unquote a dynasty, and then you could say.
By the way, Ryan, I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but I just wanted to let our viewers know that the second period is about to start. So I just want to let everybody know that. And like I said, we'll continue to keep you guys updated. Like I said, we have We have this to kind of help you out from flashscore.com. Kind of gives us more or less up to date as the score goes. So obviously, if you guys are watching along with us, you guys can also check out the goals, like who scored, who got assists, and obviously the score as well. But continue, Ryan, with what you were saying.
Well, you said, it was the 2012, 2014,
2014
Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah,
Obviously,
we don't talk about 2012 in New Jersey. We don't talk about that.
Sorry about that.
That was not a 10-minute major on Bernier. That was garbage.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing that the other two teams I think about is obviously the Chicago Blackhawks, and then we forgot. I'm sorry.
Well, right. So Ryan, let's make it clear now. Second intermission, you are playing the piano.
I am playing the piano second intermission. How about that?
Second intermission, guys. Ryan will be playing the piano, giving us some musical entertainment in the second intermission. So stay tuned for that. As the second period between the Vegas Golden Knights and Seattle Kraken has just gotten underway. By the way, they have a new center ice logo. I don't know if you can see it, Ryan, but it is really nice, like really detailed.
It's very nice. I like it. And I know nobody likes those gold jerseys that they have, and I hate the gold helmets.
I took a liking to them. It grew on me. Honestly, I didn't like it at first. It grew on me.
Yeah, I hate the gold helmets, but I love the gold jersey.
Yes, the gold helmets is a little much. It's a little much.
And that logo does look fantastic. I love the logo at center ice.
Yeah. But anyway, continue with what you were saying before as the second period just gets underway here.
And then also obviously the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Chicago Blackhawks. Those, you could say those are dynasties. But
I feel like the Blackhawks is more like the modern day dynasty because it was 2010, 2013 and 2015. They were basically the San Francisco Giants of hockey, where they were winning it for them it was every odd year, and the Giants was every even year.
Right. So, but I mean, that's really all you see. But even then, Stan Bowman worked wonders and miracles around, trying to keep that team relevant. He had the core still, but it's always those secondary players that really push you over the edge. Yep. And you could even see that in Tampa's 2 cups, because when Tampa got swept by Columbus 3 years ago, after that, they went out and got a brand new line of Yanni Gourde, Barclay Goodrow, and Blake Coleman. Shoot out to Coleman for being from Texas. But anyways,
Former
had that, huh?
Former Devil.
Former Devil too. Yeah, exactly.
I to this day I still miss Blake Coleman.
I
miss him a lot. And the Seattle Kraken, just like in the first period, take a penalty within the first minute of the period. Jaden Schwartz going to the sin bin. So once again, Vegas with an opportunity early on here in the second to potentially go up by 3 goals.
I mean, you can't win games by taking this many penalties.
No,
I don't. You could take that many penalties against Buffalo, and eventually Buffalo would make you pay. So that's not how you win games.
Well, all these guys are professionals. Whether we want to crap on these teams or not, these guys are professional hockey players, and they could all play hockey way better than we ever could. So that's just reality. That's just reality. But yeah, I don't know, Ryan. Like, we were all talking about the salary cap, and it is going to go up, but it's going to go up very gradually. But to me, it just doesn't matter because everybody's just figuring it out anyway.
Yeah, there's all this cap circumvention that people are doing nowadays. And I mean, credit to the GM for being creative about it. I mean, and especially like all these 3-way trades that are happening now, and like you're getting 25% of the player's salary or whatever if you trade him through a team and then he comes to your team or whatever. But I mean, they're within the rules, so. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it's time to get rid of. Maybe the cap really is just that useless, and it really doesn't matter. Then maybe they just need to get rid of it.
And it's like the old saying goes: "Don't hate the player, hate the game." I mean, that's really just kind of how it. It's the NHL set it up this way, and the NHL has nobody to blame but themselves for this going on. And we just have to accept that. So even though I can understand one getting excited, like, oh, we have a chance to take advantage of so many teams who are going to be in cap hell. No, because eventually they're going to figure it out. They're going to get under the cap somehow, and they're going to be able to keep the players that they have unless they're in dire straits. And that's kind of it. Isha says, without COVID, the cap would have rose a ton if ESPN deal went through in a COVID-free world. He also
100%
said, without a cap,
agree.
Neil's Rangers would poop on the Devils every night. What? I'm not a Ranger. What are you talking? What? That makes no sense. That actually made no sense off my head. Without a cap, Jesus. Well, that's not going to happen, Isha. So just keep it like that. We're just going to keep it like that. But yeah, no, I want to go back to what Isha said here because it's really good. Without COVID, the cap would have rose a ton if ESPN deal went through in a COVID-free world. Yeah, I'm sure you would agree, Ryan, that like if the salary cap rose the way it was supposed to 2 years ago before COVID, and then obviously with the ESPN deal, teams would be a lot better. Every team would have way more cap than even that they have right now.
I mean, I even saw projections that saw it rise. I think 87.5 is the general average of what I saw after 2 years. So like at this point, it would be 87.5 million, which that's a $6 million player. That's a top 6 forward right there that you could go out and get.
Yeah. You could still cash out a lot of money. And it looks like Seattle has been given another penalty, potentially, I think, too many men on the ice. So
shooting themselves in the foot.
They're just, this is definitely a team that is still learning how to play with one another. Like they looked pretty good in the preseason, but that's preseason. Actually, they're going back to just a regular power play 5-on-4. Seattle killed off the other one. But I mean, Seattle's just taking way too many penalties. And Isha also said that he saw, like you said, Ryan, 87-92 with the salary cap.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that I don't know if we need to go to what like Major League Baseball has with the luxury tax, but it just the way the system is created, the way everything is put out and the rules and everything, even the good teams, like they don't get punished for being in cap trouble because there's always loopholes to figuring out how to do it. As an, oh my goodness, possibly a tremendous save by Grubauer on that one-timer by Pacioretty. I'm not sure if he got a glove on it, but a good opportunity as Vegas is definitely coming on here on this power play. But yeah, I don't know about the salary cap situation. It's definitely a situation.
I really don't know what the solution is to all of this. I mean, me and my brother have talked about this on our own podcast several times. It's just like, no matter what you do, you're basically taking the lesser of two evils, depending on how you look at it. Mm-hmm. And I really think that's just what the NHL views the salary cap right now. Because the one thing I don't like about Major League Baseball is that, excuse me, except for the Rangers because they suck, the Texas Rangers, excuse me, not the New York Rangers, the Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers.
But it seems like it's always
Texas makes
right.
You talk about them.
So, but it seems like it's always the same stinking teams that make the championship series, and I'm like,
well, like even like this year, right?
Right. I mean, who is in it?
For the fifth consecutive year, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Exactly. And I'm just kind of like. I mean, as a casual fan of baseball, which I don't mind baseball, but it's hard for me to get into it when I'm watching it on TV or whatever. But as a casual fan of baseball, I would like to see, more variety of teams making the Final Four, making the championship series.
Right.
And I was even talking about this with one of my friends at church after church on Sunday, and we were talking about the fact how the NHL does an expanded playoffs, and there's a 16-team playoff format, and the fact that the 16th team can win the Stanley Cup, that's a cool thing.
Right.
In baseball, that's not the case. You play 162 or 164 games or whatever it is.
162. Yep.
Yeah, 162, and then. I think it's 8 or 10 teams, and that's it.
Yeah, and then you have the
10
one-game
now.
playoff BS, which I've constantly said.
Right, I hate that. That's so stupid. Just give them the playoff spot. Don't do that.
The Dodgers this year, 106 wins, and they were playing in a one-game. Granted, they won it, but they were playing in a one-game playoff, and they nearly lost. 106 wins to just get knocked out in one game. I mean, and people want to say, oh, that's exciting. No, it's not.
No, it's not. I don't like it.
I mean, and obviously this is we're talking, we're mainly talking hockey here, but speaking from a hockey perspective, would anybody like it if their team had to play a 1-game playoff and let's say you win like 54 games, right? But you have to play a 1-game playoff and you lose? And in hockey, really anything can happen. I've said it. Hockey's a magical, unpredictable sport. You really don't know what's going to happen in any game. Any team can be beaten on any day. So, I mean, if they played a 1-game playoff in hockey, it would be really bad.
Yeah, as long as Gary Bettman is the commissioner of the NHL, that will never happen. And I feel very confident in saying that.
It's one of the few things we can positively feel confident about.
Yeah, with Gary Bettman, who knows what could happen.
Fun fact about Gary Bettman, I actually did meet him one time at a Devils game. The fun thing that I found out about him is that his nephews are Devils fans. So that was kind of a cool thing because he grew up a Rangers fan, being from Long Island and obviously cheering for the Rangers. I've always had my dislike for Gary Bettman for reasons of bias towards certain franchises. But then again, and I'm sure guys like Isha and Dylan can speak for this, every Canadian fan base despises, and I say this with a capital D, despises Gary Bettman for many different reasons.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, let's think about that for a minute here. Let's see. And just as we're talking, the Vegas Golden Knights have scored again.
There goes my prediction.
3-0. And I don't know who number 14 is on Vegas. It's escaping me at the moment. They will tell me in just a minute. Somebody will. Show me it started with an H. I feel bad that I'm like blacking out. I feel really bad. They'll probably tell me some point. It's Hague. Sorry, Hague.
Nick Hague. Yep.
Nick Hague, which I believe was he on the Vegas Golden Knights? I don't think he was on the Golden Knights last year.
I don't believe so. I think this is his first year in Vegas.
So, yeah, it was a pretty good screen in front by Max Pacioretty. Don't know if he got a piece of it, but nonetheless, it's now 3-0 Vegas, and that is just his 7th career goal. So, obviously not known for a goal scorer as Nick Hague, but about 7 minutes into this period, it's now 3-0. And, obviously, Ryan, we still have a long way to go in this game, but it kind of feels like that Seattle's probably not going to find a way to come back in this one, just the way that things have gone since puck drop.
Yeah, it definitely, I think that's the nail in the coffin. And again, I know it's still early, but it's Vegas. With a 3-0 lead, they're going to take it and run with it, and they can outscore their problems even if Leonard, lets some.
Don't even admit. He's just saying, man, I hate Toronto more than Gary. Interesting. He hates a team more than he hates the commissioner. That's a pretty interesting thing. And also Josh, who is one of the hosts of Keeping Up with the Krakens. Not a great start for the Kraken. There's going to be a lot, I'm sure, Josh, you're going to have to talk about in the next episode, especially recapping this game. And especially if you do your 5 takeaways. Do not know what your 5 takeaways are going to be. Didn't play well, did not play well, did not play well, didn't come out particularly well, and didn't play well. I think those are your 5 takeaways from this game so far.
Well, I mean, there's 3 things I can think of off the top of my head. First off is turnovers, and that's not even the biggest one. Second is goaltending, still not the biggest one. Third is stay out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, they look legitimately like what we've seen expansion teams in the past, not including Vegas. They just look, discombobulated. They look out of sorts, and it's the first game. Don't
overreact.
Yeah, let's not overreact. Honestly, this team is going to be a lot better by the time the season ends. Like, once, we get through it all and everything, they're going to be fine. Isha also saying, team, city, all of the above. He just hates Toronto in general. Okay.
Ouch.
Interesting. Well, he lives on the far west side of Canada, so maybe there's just a little bit of discontent there. But since Isha's here, I'm going to ask him, and we'll see what his answer is. Do you feel that Seattle is now the new rival of the Vancouver Canucks I feel like that's been a really big question mark for a lot of people, kind of like, who is going to be that rival to Seattle? I think it's obviously going to be Vancouver because it's going to be the Battle of Pacific Northwest. And Isha did answer. He said 100%. So there you go. That'll be fun. I feel like that'll be a fun rivalry once, obviously, Seattle gets going.
And I think it's going to take a little while to see a rivalry kind of happen for Seattle. I mean, even for Vegas. For Vegas, it took a couple of years for them to have their how much they hate San Jose, and mostly for that one playoff series where Joe Pavelski had a huge concussion that was just a freak accident from Cody Eakin, and they end up winning the series.
It started in 17-18 when the Sharks got knocked out in the second
that's
round.
True. Yeah,
and I think after that it was Evander Kane and Ryan Reeves having their whole beef, which, I mean, they probably still have it. It's probably still there. And then, like you said, 2019 series, that was one of the most dramatic, most exciting, entertaining series that we've had in the last couple of years with in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because again, 3-1 Vegas lead, they blow that. Had a 3-0 lead in Game 7, blew that. Forced overtime and still lost. I mean, that was a crazy series back and forth.
Right,
back and forth.
I mean, it really was. But my thing is about Vegas and in that series, and a lot of Vegas. I actually talked to several Vegas fans, but they sit there and they complain about how that penalty was called and everything on Cody Eakin and everything. But the thing is you just kill the dang thing off.
Yeah,
kill it off, and you're fine.
And also, if you're Gerard Gallant, even after it was 3-2, why didn't you call timeout? Why didn't you call timeout and stop everything? Because once it's 3-2, now you're like in a position where there's nothing. Logan Couture single-handedly was getting that entire team going, and once they got 2, they weren't going to stop. And remember, 5-minute majors, it's not like you score once and the power play's over. No, it keeps going. You're still shorthanded even after giving up that goal. So it's going to – and Vegas was just stunned. They didn't know what to do in that moment.
And that goes to show you that playoff experience really does pay off sometimes. It really does. And if there was one thing that I learned about playoff experience watching the Stars run in 2020 was that if it was not for Joe Pavelski, that run would have never happened. I hands down, no, it would not have happened because the Stars were down 2-1 to Calgary, and they were also down by a goal going into like the last minute of the third period. Joe Pavelski scores the game-tying goal. They win Game 4, tie the series, and then go all the way to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, that would not have happened without Joe Pavelski's, without his goal in that game. And some people hate the whole, playoff experience and Stanley Cup experience, but it's a real intangible. It's a real thing. And I honestly believe that's one of the reasons why Vegas still has not won a cup. Is they don't have a lot of guys who have that and not I'm not talking just playoff experience, but you are one of the final 2 teams. You need a goal. This is Game 7. Double overtime in Stanley Cup final. They don't have any guys like that. They don't have
enough resilience. I think that's a good word to use. I mean, and you look at these other years. And really quick, speaking of Vegas, they actually just took a penalty. White Cloud ended up getting called for holding. So with about 10.5 minutes to go here in the second period, Vegas is on, I think, just their second power play. So we'll see if Seattle can find a way here on the man advantage to finally get on the score sheet for the first time in their history and maybe try to get some life here in a game where, like we've talked about, they just look very, very out of sorts.
Very flat.
Yeah, they're very flat. Very, very flat. And it kind of looks like the way Tampa was through the first 2 periods against Pittsburgh earlier tonight. They just looked flat. There was no energy. And what's different is that Tampa's at home with their crowd, and they're only down 2-0, but they're still just like not there. They're there physically, but maybe not like mentally they're all there. They're not fully with the game, and maybe they're playing down to the level of competition. It's not the same case with Seattle. I think Seattle's just overwhelmed by it's their first official game. They're playing on a national stage against a high-powered Vegas team, and it looks tough. And a 3-on-2 opportunity right here for Vegas gets snuffed out. So, and again, like right there, just discombobulated on the power play even.
It's just going to take some time for this team.
Yeah.
And
chemistry is such an important thing in hockey. It needs to be developed over time.
And one of the things that I'm just thinking about, if you were to do like a 5 takeaways from this game, is not just include, yeah, I saw that.
Really good opportunity and another chance right here, and I don't know why he made that pass. I understand
the puck.
It was his backhand, but
shoot it.
Just shoot the puck. But a good opportunity here is probably one more chance for Seattle in this power play. But yeah, it just looks. But also talk about Seattle. He just said once people can drive over the border from Vancouver to Seattle, there will be a ton of traveling fans for both teams. Yeah, I think those would be fun, and I'm hoping that a rivalry does build over time between those two.
It will definitely happen. I hope a rivalry buds there, and I think they really did. Put a franchise in Seattle for that specific reason, because they want to see more teams on the West Coast.
On a rebound, the Seattle Kraken have scored, and it's Ryan Donato who signed a PTO to start this season with the Seattle Kraken, has scored the first ever goal in Seattle Kraken history with a couple seconds to go on the power play, and Seattle has gotten a little bit back in this game as Donato was standing in front. Leonard makes the first save, but then on just a nice backhand, as you'll probably see as well, Ryan, it's just a nice backhanded goal by Donato. And Ryan Donato, he had a good year battling in San Jose with obviously a very mediocre, to say the least, San Jose team. But there's a lot of Seattle fans at this game, and they're excited, and there you go. So there's your trivia answer. The first ever goal in Seattle Kraken history, Ryan Donato.
Pick up that puck, send it to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do, man. So, obviously, I kind of hope to see Seattle maybe come back. I think it would be hilarious. Not saying it's going to happen, but I think it would be hilarious if Vegas somehow blew a 3-0 lead against Seattle in their first game. But there you go. He's just saying USA, USA, USA. There you go. Being American, rooting for Donato, super skilled. I think Donato also did play for Minnesota in the bubble, I believe, and he played pretty well there. He's always been a solid player. He really stood out. I don't know if you remember, but he really stood out in the Olympics in 2018 when we didn't have NHL players, because he was still in college at the time, and he was one of the main young players on Team USA who actually played pretty well.
I really like this guy. You can't really call him a kid anymore because he's 25, but he's still young. He's still young-ish.
He's one of the younger players on the team. You could put
it out. That's true. That's also true. But I just like the way he plays. He kind of reminds me of one of those guys who kind of gets overlooked a lot, and he kind of has to. What's the word I'm thinking of? He kind of has to push his way a little bit by making sure he's noticed by doing it with effort. Mm-hmm. So he gives a lot more effort than most players would, or at least it looks like he's giving more effort. He kind of reminds me of, and Vancouver fans will love this. Maybe not really, because he got a bad contract. But
Isham might like it.
Yeah, Isham. Well, he might not like the mention, but he reminds me of Antoine Roussel a little bit, with a little bit more skill, a lot more skill than Antoine Roussel.
Is it little or a lot?
It's a lot. Yeah, Antoine Roussel is a pest. He's a pest. He
was funny in the bubble. Like, I remember the amount of scrums that he got into. There was one in particular. I forgot who it was. Was it Ryan Reeves that he got into like a conversation? Yeah, I think it was him and Ryan Reeves had like a whole like thing going on in the bubble where they were talking a lot every game, and I thought that was like very funny.
And I kept talking to him. I kept yelling at him through my TV screen, dude, you're gonna get your team in trouble. And he just got himself in so much penalty trouble in that series that he was actually hurting his team more than helping. Mm-hmm. And Antoine Roussel used to do that with the Stars too. So right. I know all too well.
Yeah. By the way, you were talking about getting that puck. ESPN just showed one of the trainers of the Seattle Kraken writing on that puck, Ryan Donato's name and everything. So we'll see if they end up giving that to the Hall of Fame or Donato or whatever. But we'll see if that goal kind of gets Seattle going. I think that should. I think they'll be a little bit more into the game now. Okay, we scored. We're rolling. We got a little bit of momentum here. Let's try to go. As Vegas is out shooting Seattle at this point, 19-16. So the shots are relatively even. And Vegas, let's see if they could kind of bounce back from that, shake it off, and kind of go from there. Isho says, I like Roussel, Burrows-esque. Wish him well. He got destroyed by injuries last year. Yeah.
He did.
I think he had I want to say 2 or 3 injuries last season. And there you go. Another goal by the Seattle Kraken. It's McCann.
I was close.
First one, but he scored the second one. It was a soft goal. It looked like Leonard made the original stop, but it snuck in. And actually, they're showing Jaden Schwartz. So maybe it was Schwartz that ended up scoring, but I believe it is Jaden Schwartz. And the Seattle Kraken, in the span of less than 2 minutes, have gone from being down 3-0 to all of a sudden it's 3-2. And Ryan, I think we got ourselves a hockey game now.
I told you.
Schwartz. It is Jaden Schwartz. McCann made the play, and then I think Jaden Schwartz just got a piece.
I was so close.
But hey, that helps me. He's also on my fantasy team, so there we go.
Well, and I mentioned this, right? All it takes is one. You just get you get one.
He's just loving
and
this.
You can no joke.
They are back in it. Seattle fans. We got ourselves a hockey game now.
And you know what? I was kind of wrong and right at the same time. I was wrong in thinking that this game was already over, but I was also right in the fact that it sometimes it just takes one goal and you get going. And yep. I think that's all it was. They just relaxed, and then you throw it at the net. Good things happen.
Yeah, good things happen when you put the puck on the net, as my old man says to me every time he watches a Devils game. And trust me, it gets very frustrating to say that as often as we do when the team doesn't shoot the puck.
Yeah.
Hopefully that changes this season. But now Seattle, like I said before, I was saying, let's see if that goal kind of gets them going. And all of a sudden, it's 3-2. And I don't know about you, Ryan, but I feel like if I'm Pete DeBoer, I know it's the second period of the first game. It's an opportunity right in front, and a good save there by Philip Grubauer. I don't know who that was. It might have been Pacioretty all alone. Actually, it's William Karlsson. But nonetheless, Philip Grubauer making a big-time save. And that could be a save like you mentioned in the intermission, Ryan, that could really kind of keep Seattle in this game.
The one thing about this team being an expansion – oh, yeah. That was a really good save.
It was.
Well, but the one thing that with an expansion team is you have to have goaltending. And Philip Grubauer knew signing this contract that he was going to get shelled. He was going to get a lot of saves. He was going to be really busy. He was going to stop all the pucks.
Pass in front there by, I believe that, I'm not sure, I think that was Alex Wenberg, and he made a great pass in front to his teammate who got a one-time shot, but a good save by Leonard. I believe that was Jonas Donskoy, the former Colorado Avalanche, and that was the biggest save of the night right there for Leonard. Otherwise, it could have been 3-3 right there, and all of a sudden, Ryan, it's just all Seattle.
Yep, big save by Leonard there. You can't ask him for a better save at a very, very critical time in the game.
So, again, Seattle is rolling. Ryan Donato, and I believe they're going to give it to Jaden Schwartz, are the 2 goal scorers for the Seattle Kraken. The first 2 goal scorers in Seattle Kraken history. And, Vegas right now playing on their heels. But, again, I was going to kind of try to get back to this question before another big play happens, that maybe Pete DeBoer has to call a timeout because Vegas is really reeling right now.
I understand the thing.
I know it's early and it's the second period of the first game, so I understand that.
I still think that it's a little early, in my opinion. I get it because you see the momentum completely going in Seattle's favor, and Seattle's feeling it, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go get a win for our city. But I still think it's just too early. They've still got a goal lead. You've got Leonard in net. You've got a more than capable team that can handle the pressure. Mm-hmm. I think that Vegas now is starting to calm down a little bit with the momentum that Seattle has shown in this second period.
Yeah, and I think I think the biggest weakness of Vegas has gotten exposed a little bit, even though they do have some really good talented defensemen. I personally believe, Ryan, that the problem with their defense is that they don't have enough defensive defensemen. I feel like they have a lot more guys that are more offensive guys, Alec Martinez, Alex Pietrangelo, guys like that. And I feel like that they struggle a little bit just from the defensive side of it. And I think they got exposed on both of those goals. That's the way that I kind of look at it from just looking back at those two.
And I really like to look at their defense as they're very much more two-way defended. They have a lot of good two-way defensemen. Pietrangelo is one of those guys. I know
as Jonathan Marchessault had a little bit of an opening, took the shot, but it hit off the top post. Otherwise, that would have been 4-2. That would have been a well-timed goal there if that had gone in for Vegas. That would have been his second of the game. But best chance of the last couple minutes for Vegas right there.
Go kiss those posts, and then, like my grandfather used to say, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Oh, 100%. And there ain't, and as my old man would say, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of luck here and there. But
man,
again, Seattle's just flying right now. I mean, they are really rolling right now.
They are feeling it, and I'm loving to see it. This is making a game out of it. Originally what looked like was going to be a blowout. So
yeah,
thank you, Seattle.
Walk in the park for Vegas at one point. But yeah, no. Whereas ESPN's taking a quick break, and we're actually going to take a quick break as well as we get another word from our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook.
You want some of this? Visit DraftKings and enter promo code THPN.
I can confirm that voice is Dylan's, by the way. So that was great. And that was hilarious. I don't know, if Dylan is still here, Dylan, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal voiceover. Loved it. Josh Deming from Keeping Up with the Krakens. Donato was such an underrated pickup for the Kraken. I was stunned that he was looking for a PTO. I thought somebody would have signed him to a regular contract. The fact that he had to basically try out to just make the team is mind-boggling to me.
I agree with you. I think Ryan Donato is a completely underrated pickup for the Seattle Kraken. And this is a guy that can play. He kind of reminds me of a guy from the Stars who is now in Vancouver, actually, Jason Dickinson. Jason Dickinson, he's one of those guys that can play up and down the lineup in basically any kind of role that you throw him in. He's one of those utility guys. He can fill in the top six for a period of time if you got injuries. Yep. He's better suited for that third line, fourth line role, but he's got some skill. So I agree 100% with the fact that Ryan Donato is a really good pickup for the Kraken.
100%. And the King saying, "Go Kraken, release the Kraken." By the way, I just want to say that is one of my all-time favorite throwback logos in the NFL with the old Seattle Seahawks logo. Would love to see if they could kind of, not necessarily rebrand, but kind of go back to that. We'll see. As a really good chance in front here by Jaden Schwartz looking for his second goal, but Leonard comes up with another good save. And again, the Kraken are just coming in waves right now. Vegas has got to get out of this period still up by a goal. They can't go into the third tied at 3 because they will completely be screwed.
Yeah, let me make a hot take here that if Seattle scores in the final, minute and a half here, Seattle will win the game.
I think so as well.
I feel safe in saying that.
I've always said, when I've been broadcasting hockey and watching it, that those final 2 minutes of the first and second periods are such big momentum moments because if you could score a goal, or even if you give up a goal, it could be huge momentum for your team or your opponent going into that next 20 minutes. So Vegas really can't afford to allow Seattle to get that third goal to tie going into the third period, because if that's the case, I'm with you, Ryan, and I think that Seattle's going to find a way to win this game because they're going to go as a locker room. I mean, they still will, but they can go in their locker room saying, "Hey, We can play with these guys. We can win this game. Forget about just trying to be competitive. We can win this game.
Yeah.
Frangelo with a big-time shot and a good stick save there made by Grubauer, who is now starting to really get into a flow a little bit.
And I mean, I know that he's a Vezina finalist and everything like that, but again, he is not playing in front of the same guys that he was last year. He is the first goaltender in the history of the Seattle Kraken. I mean,
a good shot there and a save made by Leonard. A little bit of an open net, now a little bit of a scramble. Giordano with a shot, and it gets stopped by Robin Leonard, and somebody just fell on top of Leonard. Not sure. I think it might have been Brandon Tanev. But Tanev with a good chance. He caused a little bit of chaos and caught Leonard out of his crease, but he couldn't get enough of the shot to possibly get it in. And again, the Golden Knights are playing with fire right now. Like, they're really playing with fire.
They want that goal. They want that goal before the I think they were. Yeah, I think they were talking. I think they were talking on the bench that, hey guys, if we get a goal here,
insane close, close. Yeah, well, it was so close. Open net there for Tanev, and he tried to see if he could angle it. Actually, might have gotten blocked by Mason Appleton, his teammate. Otherwise, I think it might have been able to hit off somebody and gone in. But yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
Dude, I forgot. I got distracted.
No, it's all good. I'm trying to also get the people who are watching involved as well, and just trying to get the comments out as best as I can. But
no, do it.
But 15 seconds to go here, as Vegas is looking for one last chance as they're in the offensive zone right now, and they're still whacking away at it on the right side. Let's see if Vegas can get something going here. 3, 2, 1. No, that's going to do it. So all of a sudden, we thought it was over. I mean, let's face it. Both of us thought it was over when it was 3-0. But then back-to-back goals in the span of a minute and a half by Donato and Jaden Schwartz. And the Seattle Kraken are only down by a goal going into the final 20 minutes. So, Ryan, really quickly here before, obviously, we come to one of the other main events, which is obviously hearing you play a little bit of Billy Joel for us here on the second intermission. What is your takeaways or what should be the focus for both Vegas and Seattle going into this third period?
For Vegas, stay out of the box. I mean, I know we were talking about that with Seattle, but Vegas has got to stay out of the box. You got to avoid as much as you possibly can of giving the Seattle Kraken any kind of momentum whatsoever. So I'm not saying, go turtle and, just stick with the defensive side of the game, which I wish the Stars would do less. But what I'm saying is be a little bit more aggressive on the defensive side of the puck and stay out of the box. Yeah, because I really feel like if they get a power play now and they've got one less player on the ice, that the Kraken are going to take advantage of that. For Seattle, that's a really good question with Seattle. I guess whatever they did in the last 10 minutes, do it again. Keep it going. And I'm not quite sure. I'd have to go back and look at some of the highlights of what they were doing differently. But
I think it was more that they started to not do so much dump and chase, where it was more they actually carried the puck into the offensive zone and started to focus more on the forecheck. I think that was really that was at least what I thought I saw.
And that was actually one of the things I was thinking is you noticed more, especially the defense carrying the puck into the offensive zone, dropping it off, getting the forecheck established, and then throwing it back up to the point and getting some dirty goals. I mean, and then and even getting some loose rebounds and getting in there and getting those nasty stuff. So, I mean, whatever they did in the last 10 minutes worked. So they just need to keep that up, unless Vegas makes some adjustments.
100%. So we will see what happens. But while we wait for the third period to start, Ryan, I just have one question for you, my friend. Are you ready to give us our second intermission entertainment here this evening?
Yeah, I can do that. Now, I can't make any promises that I'm going to remember all of it, all right? But
all good, man. We're gonna obviously play. We're gonna play a DraftKings ad while you get set up, so you can go over there and get ready.
All right, and it may just be like the first 20 seconds of it. I don't really remember all of it, so I'll try.
Fair enough. You know what? Play as much as you want, and we'll go from there. I'm sure Isha, Dylan, and the boys will appreciate just the fact that you're doing it. So, we will see Ryan perform a little bit of musical entertainment for us in the second intermission right after this commercial break. All right, so again, shout out to the lovely people at DraftKings Sportsbook. And again, guys, if you guys are liking this watch along and everything that we're doing, please like and subscribe to the Hockey Podcast Network THPN YouTube channel for all of your daily, your weekly, your whatever you want to call it, hockey content. We have so much content that's going to be coming out, things about the Kraken, Golden Knights, and all of the teams in the NHL. And you're going to get the chance to meet so many of the hosts, and we're going to have so much going on. So I hope you guys like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content. So he's just saying, Kraken making this a fun game despite the sloppy play and hiccups. That is very true. And he also said at exactly midnight, I'm on the East Coast, so it is exactly midnight here, which I think is a perfect time. And he says, oh, hell yeah, Billy Joel time. So Ryan, whenever you are ready, take your time, and we can kind of go from there. All right, my friend?
All right, here goes nothing. We'll see how this works out.
Let's see how this goes.
I don't even know if this microphone is going to pick it up, but we'll try it.
One can hope.
And this piano's really out of tune, but we'll try it anyways, right?
I unfortunately don't think they can hear us. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point, Ish. It's a very, very good point.
All right, I think that's about all I remember.
Well, Isha has informed us that nobody heard anything.
Oh, really? Oh.
So here's the thing. But you know what? Like he said, it's the thought that counts, as he points out here.
Dang it.
And we still appreciate it. And you know what? I know the song very well, and obviously you're playing it. I can hear it in my head. It was still great. But thank you for doing that regardless, though.
Oh, well, we'll have to make sure that it works next time. I'll actually make sure.
We'll set it up. Right. It just says next time. So obviously that, it happens. But you know what? Again, it's early days into the season. We're still getting all the kinks and everything and kind of going from there. So again, if you're just joining us, my name is Neil Villapiano. I'm the host of the Devil's State of Mind podcast. Ryan, introduce yourself.
And I am Ryan Chambers, and along with my brother Chris and James, we have the Dallas Stars podcast called Starcastic Remarks.
That is great. So and again, thank you guys so much for spending your Tuesday, and if you're obviously on the East Coast, into Wednesday evening with us as we are watching the Seattle Kraken take on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Seattle Kraken, entering the third period, are trailing 3-2 after being down 3-0. Goals from Ryan Donato and Jaden Schwartz are the first two ever goals in the history of the Seattle Kraken. And again, Ryan, like we just talked about a few minutes ago, ever since the Kraken got that first goal off their list, they just completely dominated the rest of that period. They were the much better team, and now they go into the third, only needing one and obviously two goals to take the lead. But they're one goal away from coming back from down 3-0.
Well, it's just amazing how much much the momentum can be a factor in a game. And, later on, I think that assuming that Vegas goes back and they do end up winning this game, they're going to look back at that third goal and think, oh, thank God we got that third goal when we did, because it could have been a different game. But again, it's 3-2 going into the third period. If I remember correctly, I think this is exactly what happened in the Stars game when the Stars played the Golden Knights. I think it was a 1-goal game and the Stars were up, and then they blew it in the third period, which the Stars like to do. So, I can't help but not root for the Seattle Kraken right now. Sorry, Vegas fans, but I got to go with the Cinderella story for tonight, I guess.
And you know what? I got a little surprise for everybody that's watching this, so check this out. I might be wearing this, but I do have this under my shirt. There we go. Got that, which kind of tells you that I don't need to wear this. And I don't have any Kraken stuff, so that's unfortunate. So I'm changing attire for the third period because I want to. But I was also going to say, if anybody understands the pain of blowing 3-goal leads, it's the Devils. Because over the last couple of years, we have found numerous ways to blow 2, 3, and hell, even 4-goal leads in one game. So I'm getting PTSD watching Vegas slowly but surely blow this game away. It's not fun. And I was saying to a lot of people who listen to Devil State of my podcast that basically the way that I look at it is that if we could just go to the way I know things are going to change with the Devils is that if we have a 3-goal lead and we don't blow it, if we have a 3-goal lead,
that's how you know they've made it.
We got it. Even if it's 3-1, if we still win like 3-1, it's like, okay, we didn't blow it. We held firm. We won this game. Like that's all it's worth. Isha said, thanks for staying up and streaming, fellas. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, this is already the second one that I'm doing, and I mentioned before I'm doing another one on Friday for the Devils home opener against the Blackhawks. I'm going to be joined by Jerome from the WCB podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun doing that. Ryan, I hope you give us a like and also maybe leave us a comment on that one. We would appreciate it as always.
Definitely will.
Awesome. The King actually has a question for us. So the King wants to ask his sevens a question. He says, question for y'all. How do you think the Kraken inaugural season will go? Ryan, I'll let you answer that first.
I guess that's a very wide question because there could be a lot of different ways you could go with that. How I think they will go as a team, I think they make the playoffs. I do. I think they sneak in the third spot, like I said earlier in the stream. I think it's going to be 5 teams from the Central, 3 from the Pacific will make the playoffs. I really think they have a shot. I really do. Assuming that, based off of my own predictions, I don't think they make it past the first round. They'll have to beat Edmonton, and I'm sorry, but Connor McDavid is pissed off. You don't want to be playing against him, especially in the playoffs.
Do you think Connor McDavid could potentially get to 150 points this year?
I would say no, but I'm not going to say no.
I like that. Like you want to say no, but you're also scared to say no because they don't get more pissed off.
If there's anybody that can do it, it's Connor McDavid. As for individual Kraken players, I would love to see Jordan Eberle take another step. Coming from New York, he has a lot of playoff experience. And I would love to see him take that step forward. And like we talked about earlier, he could be a 30-goal scorer. We talked about him getting 25 to 30 goals this season for the Kraken. And I kind of was really, really excited to see how Philip Grubauer does in Seattle as well. So I think he will do. I think he will do well. I don't know if he will do as well as he did in Colorado, but we will see. We'll see.
Yeah, and as far as for me, the way that I look at it, I agree a lot with Ryan. I do think that Seattle ends up making the playoffs, and I think more or less it has to do with the fact that the Pacific Division is so weak.
Very weak.
There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be really, really struggling, and I think Seattle's going to surprise some people. And, look, we talk about it. Defense wins championships, and defense also helps you get in the playoffs. And I think that because of how solid, for the most part, Seattle's defense is, and their goaltending is very firm, I think that even with the lack of goal scoring they're going to get, they're going to find ways to win those close games and get those necessary points. And so I think that they will find a way to make the playoffs. And I think, and I'm hoping that's the case, because I think it would be fun, just like when Vegas did it in their inaugural season, for Seattle to get in the playoffs and build a really, really good fan base right away. So for me, I definitely think that they make it as like that third team out of the Pacific and make it to the playoffs. And for me, I think Jaden Schwartz gets the 30 goals. I know that might be a little bit reaching it.
No, that's not reaching it at all.
Look,
I don't think.
He needs 20. He already got his first one. He needs 29 more, so he's already on pace. I think that he can do it. I think that they're going to get a 30-goal score out of him. So that's the way I look at it. So thank you for the question, the King. Penguins Pasta says, better jerseys, purple and gold Kings or Robo Penguin?
Oh,
Penguin
that's
Penguin.
a hard one. Oh.
Look at this logo. Because this logo does this logo not go hard? I mean, this logo is tremendous.
Oh, I don't know. Oh.
Do I need to? I think I might need to bring up this. Bring it up.
You may have to bring it up side by side or something.
Well, yeah. Let me see if I can actually find it, because I think people would.
All right,
would be curious.
So let me talk about these jerseys for a second. So obviously, the Robo Penguin obviously is just absolutely fantastic design, logo, everything. The jerseys are fantastic. I love looking at their jerseys. And then as for the purple and gold Kings jerseys, those are just absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry to any Kings fans who are listening, but I don't like. I take that back. I don't mind the current Kings jerseys. I don't mind the color scheme. It's very modern and very sleek and stylish and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the purple and gold is just absolutely fantastic. I love the reverse retro that they did last year. That was one of the best reverse retros from the whole program last year, was the LA Kings. It was honestly my favorite. So so that's
there's the purple one. Let me see if I can get it to a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna keep it there. So yeah, I mean, like, that's, I don't know if everybody can see it. I'm sure you can see it, Ryan. I mean, this is top class right here. I mean, it really is.
It really is.
It just really is. And then you look at the Penguins Robo jersey, which I don't know if everybody can
that
see it
looks
there.
great.
I mean, but to me personally, Ryan, when I think Penguins jerseys, like, I think of jerseys like the ones that really stand out to me. I'm trying to find it. Actually, it's like right here.
The white
This
one.
one is my favorite. This one is my favorite from the Penguins perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I really do.
I don't know if you could see. Can you see it? I think you can see it. Can you see it?
Nah, it goes black when you try to zoom in.
I'm still learning StreamYard every day, so everybody.
That's all right.
Also, this one. Can you see this one?
Yes, we can't see that one.
Yeah,
The
that
word
one
mark.
is also really good. I like that one.
Actually, one of my favorite ones is the one. Go back to the Pittsburgh
Yeah, let
tab
me go.
real quick.
Sorry, you just had me.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
got you
You're
at the
good.
wrong absolute time. But
lack of communication.
But
It's all good.
those powder blue jerseys.
This one.
Yeah, I love those powder
Those
blue
are
jerseys.
great. Those are the original
Yeah.
Penguins jerseys, like when they first came into the league in '67. Those are good. Those are great.
Right.
Big fan of those. So that's actually so there's that. We're actually getting a lot of questions now, Ryan. Connor Popplewell says Vegas to win this game. Hopefully, I personally don't. Neither. I think both
you're
Brian and I have
honest.
made it very clear that we do not want Vegas to win this game. So I think I'm sorry, Connor, but you're kind of on the island right now. Richie Flores from here we go, the Coyotes podcast.
Okay, yeah, he wins. He's right. He's right.
Richie, Corey, the Kachina. Really Kachina. Yeah, well, again, here, let's bring up that, shall we? Because obviously people want to see that. I mean, it just speaks for itself, does it not? Like, you talk about this one. You talk about the white one, which I'm hoping people can see that. Yep, you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan, you gotta give me confirmation that people can see it.
We can see it.
But you got that, and then you got obviously the black one, which is also just great.
That's my favorite one. Is the black
That
one.
one is just so sick.
The white one looks professional, but the black one just looks slick. It looks really nice.
100%. 100%. It's a great one. It's an absolutely great one. The King says I have to go with Robo Penguin as the better jersey. All right.
And you could go either way with that.
You could really go
There's
either
no
way.
wrong answer to that one.
Now, Isha says, no, the real answer is Prince Albert Raiders. Okay. Now you got me carried. Wait, hold on. Albert Raiders.
Sorry, disagree. 100%.
Wait, which one am I looking at? What the hell is this? No, what is this? No, what is that? Isha, is that you?
It looks like Jesus holding a stick and a sword.
No, I think that's Isha. Maybe Isha. I'm not sure. I mean, this one's kind of cool. I like this one. This is the old cursive handwriting, but I don't know. That was weird. That's really weird.
With me and word mark jersey. Sorry, words are hard.
And by the way, to let everybody know, just really quickly, the third period of our game tonight between Seattle and Vegas is just getting underway, and we'll continue to answer your guys' questions. Keep them coming because, we do appreciate it.
Shoot, I forgot what. Oh yeah. So the only team that can really get away with a word mark jersey, in my opinion, is the Rangers. Which
one? Like both of them, or just the white one? Like which one? The Statue of Liberty one.
Specifically the blue Rangers diagonal across.
Oh, okay.
That one specifically. But
yeah, that's always a classic.
Right, and I know Dallas did a word mark jersey in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and it looked like a college team. Like they were going like the college field. I hated it. That was one of my least favorite Dallas jerseys. And I mean, I have one just because it's in my collection. But stop it! Just trying to get me fired up.
No, see, Rich is getting mad. You don't. Here's the thing. Rich is the type of guy you don't want him to get fired up because once he gets fired up, there's just no going back. You just can't. And go check out the Richie and Corey podcast. Please go check that out. They
Very
cover
good.
The Coyotes, and they also just do a lot of other stuff, which is hilarious to listen to. Absolutely hilarious. Those are great. And Isha also says, buddy, I'm the brown dude, and I'd sport those with pride when people cancel them. So all right. So our next discussion, Ryan, is cancel culture.
Boy.
That's all right. He also says Kachina close second. He also says thanks for joining, Rich. Yeah, Richie, thank you so much. And thanks to everybody again for spending your time with us. We're 2.5 hours into this watch along. We're into the third period, about 90 seconds in, and again, Seattle looking to come back from down 3-0 to tying this game. Now we have a question here from TCV. Says, is the goal song for Seattle still Nirvana? I actually don't know.
I think so. I think it still is. But and that's very vague. I remember reading it somewhere that it's still Nirvana, but don't quote me that that's 100% yet. I'm not sure.
We did get confirmation. The Kraken's goal song is Lithium by Nirvana.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was Lithium.
That is their goal song. That is interesting. As a scramble in front of the net as Leonard has to dive on his back to make the save as Seattle nearly again almost had themselves the game-tying goal there. What a chance. Man, Ryan, it just seems like it's a matter of time before Seattle ties this game.
Oh,
you saw that, right? It's just like it was like a knuckle puck.
Yeah, it just seems like a matter of time. It really does.
And then you got Richie saying, I actually like the white version better. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody was really hoping to see that white one. I personally prefer the black one, like Ryan does. Because again, I'm not fully a white jersey person, even though again, yes, I still have this. I know I have to keep telling Isha that I recognize the fact that I'm being hypocritical. The King also says, I agree. The powder blue jersey, I think he's talking about the Penguins one we talked about
blue,
before.
yeah.
That one's really good. Isha asking, good question, what's their song? Again, it's Lithium by Nirvana. That is the song that Seattle has as their goal song. And also David Chambers saying game on. So there you go.
Here we go. It really is game on. And I'm telling you, if the momentum keeps swinging for the Kraken like this, look for the Kraken to win the game 4-3.
You thinking overtime, or you thinking regulation if it gets to that point? It's an opportunity here for Nate Bastian as the shot got blocked by a broken stick. As another try in front by Nate Bastian is stopped by Leonard. And Nate Bastian, a former New Jersey Devil, obviously we called him Nasty Nate because he's just such a physical player. Seattle's really going to like Nate Bastian because he can score some timely goals, but he's super physical, doesn't mind to rough it up, get into those grimy, dirty areas. He's going to be a fan favorite, I can feel, in Seattle. But a couple good chances right there. And Vegas is just holding on for dear life, and we're not even 4 minutes into this period.
Keep pushing. That's all they need to do. If you're Seattle and you're the coach, you're like, let's get going, roll it, and you're rolling 4 lines at this point.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's just that momentum. You just need to keep it swinging.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And honestly, though, even if Seattle doesn't end up finding a way to come back and winning this game, I just really like the fight that they have. That all, they get 2 goals, and now they're playing loose, they're playing relaxed, they're playing confident, and they're showing a lot to us, to everybody who's watching this, to everybody who's watching this game, that Seattle can be competitive. They may not have a whole lot of talent, but they can compete.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And that's
we talked about rivalries earlier. Maybe this is a rivalry right here, kind of starting right before our eyes in the very first game of the season.
Yeah, and considering the fact that San Jose is on the downward spiral and going probably into a rebuild within the next year, I mean, they have really no choice. Yeah, maybe Vegas is looking for a new rival. And I mean, I think it would be kind of fun to have the 2 most recent expansion teams become rivals. I could see again why Vancouver would be the logical one, but if there is no hatred or build up there, then you're not going to really have a rivalry. But the thing that Vegas would hate is if they lost the first game of the season to an expansion team, which I guess then the Dallas Stars and you as well, Ryan, would say, welcome to the party. No, it'd be like that meme. Like first time here, like that. Like first time here. Someone's going to make that meme if Vegas loses this game. Like, that's coming.
Yeah, and it maybe that's why I'm kind of rooting for Seattle a little bit too, because I'm looking for some retribution for what is it, 5 years ago now? Yeah, exactly. Like, you lost to an expansion team in their first year as well.
At home, mind you.
Yeah, that too, and I think it was at home for us as well. Actually,
it was at home. So that's kind of that's the. I think I feel like every fan except fans of Vegas wants Seattle to win this game back.
because everybody has at least one player on Seattle that was on their team last year. So
yeah, I mean, so
for the most part, I should say.
Well, I forgot who Vegas. Oh wait, no, right. Vegas didn't have to give up anybody because they're an expansion team.
Right.
There's another, again, this is just another thing to add on to the whole crap that Vegas has been given so much that no other expansion team has ever been given. And so, it's just ridiculous.
Going back to the whole Vegas versus Seattle expansion differences and everything, I think a lot of GMs learned from the Vegas expansion, and they made a lot of deals with Vegas that they got smart about, and they knew they weren't going to make those same deals with Seattle. I mean, Florida, what on earth are you doing? Yeah, you gave up Riley Smith and Jonathan. That was 2/3 of the first line for Vegas that sent them to the Stanley Cup final in the first year. Yeah. And I don't even remember who they protected. Why they gave up those 2 players, I don't even remember now.
I don't remember, and it doesn't. And it really doesn't matter.
Right. So.
And yeah, I mean, like you said, with Seattle. Look, with Vegas, not every team had a guy on Vegas playing the first year. They made a lot of trades. When we were getting ready for the expansion draft, which was obviously ruined thanks to Frank Saravalli, it wasn't his fault. I want to make that clear. I don't blame Frank Saravalli. I give him a lot of credit. I think it was funny. I think it was really funny because he wanted to stick it in the who was he originally working for? Then he left.
TSN.
TSN. He wanted to stick it in the eye of TSN and just report and ruin it for all of us, which was hilarious. Because because we did on the Hockey Pod Network Twitter account, we did a live stream of the expansion draft, and we were all just sitting there like, well, we already know what's happening. What can we talk about? But I just remember just the fact that with Seattle, they picked one. The majority of the players they picked, if not all of them, are on this team, and that's just where it is. And there wasn't a lot of trades, if you remember. I don't think there was one actually, if I remember correctly. Was there one? I don't think there was. I don't think there was.
I think they took somebody and then traded him to Calgary. I think it was Tyler Pitlick.
Yeah, it might have been Tyler Pitlick.
If I remember correctly, I think they got him from Arizona, and then they flipped him for a third rounder or fourth rounder to Calgary because Calgary wanted him. But that's the only trade I can think of that was, of consequence, if you could even call it that, because it even then wasn't that big a deal. Right. Tyler Pitlick is at best a fourth liner, mostly 13th, 14th forward. Yeah. So
and they weren't. I mean, look, to just get something for them, I think, in being an expansion franchise, it still works. It works out for them.
Yeah, and go ahead.
So the King just said, I 100% agree with that. If Seattle gets a couple of good seasons, it puts up a challenge for the Pacific Division. I see a massive rivalry between the Knights and Kraken down the road. So yeah, obviously the King definitely agrees with you, Ryan, about Seattle and Vegas becoming a rivalry.
I would love to see that, just because Vegas was the baby of the NHL. They were the little darlings, and they were really successful right off the bat. Made a bunch of money in the first 5 years or so.
Good opportunity right there by Vince Dunn on a deflection, and had to make a really good save by Robin Leonard as ESPN's going to go to a commercial break. And I mean, they're just coming in waves, Ryan. It just you could see it as well. They're just coming in waves.
Well, and to Vegas's credit, we're seeing good defensive plays from them as well. But Seattle is doing the same thing. They're making really good defensive plays on in their own D zone. So it's good for both of them. Going back to the whole Knights and Kraken thing, the Knights are no longer the darlings of the NHL. The Kraken are the new darlings of the NHL. And It looks like they are going to have some I think they're going to be really successful too. I really do. And the way that Ron Francis approached this expansion draft was very different than the way Vegas did. Vegas was looking at how can we win right now, and what's the best way moving forward that we could win a cup in 5 years. I think that was what he came out and said. So
I think Ronnie Francis, honestly, like when you look at like how he handled the expansion draft and then also how he handled it in free agency, what I like is that he was very honest about what he wanted to do. He didn't want to do it the way Vegas did it. He wanted to build this team naturally. He wanted to do, the legit thing with an expansion team. You get draft picks, you get young players, you build from there, and you can go from there. The thing is, though, Ryan, and I don't know if you would agree with this, but if you go back to way back to like 1967 when we had the first ever expansion, you were just getting cast off players. You were not getting guys that even those expansion teams back then would have killed to have some of the players that even Seattle has right now. Yeah. And, Seattle's in a much better position than some other, again, excluding Vegas, in a much better position where they're not going to be like the laughing stock of the NHL and tanking. Yeah, they may not be that good, but they can definitely compete. And I think that's what really Ronnie Francis wants from this Seattle team. Well,
and he also left the room for a lot of cap space as well, right?
Right.
Which they
still have.
Take,
it's not
right.
a massive amount.
Exactly. To take advantage of the fact that nobody has cap space right now. There's teams right now that are still a little bit over the cap. And, hey, we'll take that really bad contract off your hands. Give us a first round pick. Yeah. I mean, that's how you do it. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's weaponizing his cap space. And I expect to see that more from Ron Francis going through for the next couple of years.
I was surprised that he wasn't. And just like that, Seattle has tied it. It's Morgan Geeky from a far right angle. And the Seattle Kraken, down 3-0 in the second period, have come back to tie the game at 3. Just 8 minutes into the third period, it's Morgan Geeky. And I think Brandon Tanev might have gotten an assist, so he's just going to be pumped about that. And obviously I have the TV muted for obvious reasons, but I'm sure it is deathly silent now in Vegas as it's just a top shelf shot I think Robin Leonard, honestly,
He should have had that one.
I don't know
He
if he should have
should have
had
had-
that one.
I think so.
You know, when they go top shelf, it's a lot harder to make that, save. But Morgan Geekie, the former Carolina Hurricane, I believe he was he was former
Carolina Hurricane. Yeah, you're right.
He ties the game at 3. And Ryan, I think now is a good time to call that timeout. What do you think?
100%. You call it right now.
Yeah, you got to call a timeout. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, now Ryan's prediction. Now, granted, it changed as the game progressed, so we're gonna let that slide because we'll let that slide.
People are gonna hold me to my predictions on Twitter.
You should say boom 3-3. So yeah, I mean, and look, showing Isha's comment, that just proves that like everybody watching this, unless you're a Vegas fan, so badly wants Seattle to win this game. And this is exactly what we were hoping for. And the Vegas Golden Knights, they're showing a statistic right now on ESPN. They're 90-0-1 with a 3-goal lead in franchise history. Their only loss, December 14th in New Jersey against the Devils. That's a fun fact, as just as I say that, Connor Stevenson off his skate, it goes in the back of the net, and Vegas has regained the lead 4-3. And pain.
Of course.
And then you just have that picture, pain. All I know is pain. And that was really lame. No, that goal was lame. That goal, like, obviously it's hockey and that's happening. That's just lame. Like, if you look at it again, first of all, bad pass by, it might have been
turnover.
Was it Adam Larson? Yeah, it was Adam Larson. And it just hit off. Stevenson didn't kick it either. It just hit off. It just hit off his skate. I think Mark Stone did that on purpose. Oh, you know what? They're showing the replay, Ryan. It looked like Stevenson might have kicked that.
It's got to be a definitive kick. They're not going to call it back unless it was a definitive kick.
His foot is like moving as it's kicked. I don't think they're reviewing it though. I think they're just going to. They might be reviewing it.
They got to review that at this critical of a game. They should.
And I'm telling you this right now. I'm going to make a prediction right now. If they wave this off, Seattle's winning this game. If they wave this goal off, Vegas is not going to.
Oh, that is really close. I don't know.
You see what I'm saying, right? It looks like he kicked it. Does it not look like he kicked that?
I'm just glad I'm not an NHL video ref right now. I'll just say that because I would not want to make that call.
He's just saying that's a soccer goal. That's garbage. Call it back. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You go look at his foot. They're showing another replay. He's literally kicking out his foot. That to me is not a goal. That to me should not be allowed.
It depends on how you look at it. Did he actually use his foot to kick it, or did his skate get caught in a rivet in the ice? And I think you could argue it that way too.
We also get our first look at Dave Jackson, who is, I guess, ESPN's NHL rules analyst. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of Dave Jackson? I've never heard of this guy. And then
I have not, no.
We have a different opinion. Richie says, good goal, folks. A redirect, not a kick.
Yeah, and the other thing...
And they did call it a good goal.
I was about to say because...
That's a backbreaker. That might be a backbreaker for Seattle, not going to lie.
Well, we said that when they were down 3-0 and they came back and tied the game. So don't count them out. They're still, 11 minutes is an eternity in hockey. So.
Oh, and Hackstall is pissed off. And, honestly, Ryan, I thought hiring Hackstall actually wasn't that bad of a hire. Because, he was okay in Philadelphia, but obviously considering their situation and goaltending was always an issue, they could never really get it going. And I thought he did pretty well as an assistant in Toronto in the time that he was there. So I think he definitely earned a right to get another shot. And I think he's a pretty solid coach for this Seattle team.
I have to, go with the powers be, the people that are smarter than me. I don't know much about Dave Hackstall, but from what I've read,
he did really well in North Dakota State.
Right, and that was one of the places that I knew he's been. But he has. It seems like he's done a really good job with this team and with teams in the past too. So I agree with you that he deserved a shot at this. Yeah,
and Richie's saying they should eliminate the kicking motion rule anyway. Always thought it was dumb. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. That's a tough one because I feel like it's just another. It's like if they get rid of it, then you're just going to see everybody just kick it in all the time, and it'll just become soccer on ice. I mean, that's just the way. Again, that's just the way I look at it, and it is a tough rule because again, that was not an easy call to make because you could make an argument either way. You know, like you said, Ryan, was that a deliberate kicking motion? Like, it could go either way. So,
I think the only thing that made it to where they called it a good goal is because it was on the outside of his skate, so he couldn't.
Oh, you think it was more inside? They would have said no.
I think he probably yes. I think so. It would have been easier to call it as a kicking motion. In that case, I don't think that they could have called it a kicking motion.
You know, one guy, Ryan, that we haven't heard a lot of, or we haven't seen a lot of in this game is Mark Giordano. Like, he's been very, very quiet and everything, and we're getting a stoppage in play here as Stevenson and one of the Kraken players were in the corner, and the Kraken player had a helmet on. It looks like Stevenson might be going to the sin bin here, as Adam Larson is the one without his helmet on, unless they're giving coincidental offsetting minors. I think they are, actually, because Stevenson is definitely going to the box. We'll see if Adam Larson is going to join him. So it looks like they're calling a roughing penalty, and I think it's just Stevenson. So the Seattle Kraken are going to go to the power play after and trailing by a goal, and Stevenson, who scored the go-ahead goal at the moment, now is hoping that he doesn't cost them a goal. So we'll see if Seattle can make them pay. And Isha was talking about Hackstall. He was far from okay in Philly. North Dakota legend, though. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, you know, obviously it was a bad situation. That is still a bad situation in Philadelphia. I mean, how much has really changed? Not much. Their defense is worse, honestly. Their goaltending is a question mark. And you think Martin Jones is a better backup than Brian Elliott?
No,
that's not going to work. He's also saying, what did he say here? He said, Richie's just looking for any role to bend so his team can win a game this season.
Ooh, shots fired.
That is wrong. Can we talk about? Let's talk about Bill Armstrong for a second here. That is the GM of the Coyotes, correct?
Correct. Yeah, because Doug is in Seattle and Bill is in Arizona.
He had a pretty productive offseason. He became Sam Presti of the NHL, where he was just collecting first round picks and picks in general. He's like, the future of the NHL belongs to Arizona.
It really seemed like he has played NHL 21 be a GM mode or something like that, because he is going to own every single draft pick in the second round. I think he has. I need to look it up on Cap Friendly, but I think he has like 5 second-round picks this upcoming draft, the very next draft. So yeah. I'll get on that and look, but it's just ridiculous how many draft picks that the Arizona has in the upcoming years.
And hopefully with obviously some new people within the organization and everything, that they can kind of move on from the last couple of years and just try to focus on building a team. That is if Arizona still has a team after this year, which is still, I'm not knocking on them. It's just still a question mark. We don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, they have an idea about it in Tempe, but how concrete is that plan? We don't know. That's the thing. As Seattle now, actually, no, it's not a power play. They called 4-on-4, so they did call they called coincidental offsetting penalties, whatever you call them. So it's 4-on-4 for the next 90 seconds here, as Seattle is again trailing, this time 4-3, looking for a goal. And how is that not a penalty? How is that not a penalty? He was just completely tripped. I don't know how they missed that. Did they, as an opportunity here, and a backhanded try by, I think that was Fleury, ends up being stopped by Leonard. And yes, they did call a penalty there, Ryan, on Mark Stone. So it'll now be a 4-on-3 power play for the Seattle Kraken. And this is going to be interesting now. We'll see if Seattle can actually have a little bit more room to maneuver here with it being 4-on-3, as I believe, I'm not sure who 16 is, top of my head. Actually, it was McCann. He was off to the races. They were going to have a 2-on-1, but Mark Stone, I think, tripped. And as a result, he ended up tripping McCann. So now, with 9:03 to go in this game, it'll be a 4-on-3 power play for the Seattle Kraken for 1 minute 19 seconds.
What did I say? Don't take a penalty.
Don't take a penalty.
Don't take a penalty. And if you are Coyotes
This I want to see. I want to see this. New rule. Raiders begin every game with a 2-goal spread. I want to see that.
I think they would go 50-50 if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they'd find a way to lose a lot of their games. I don't know. That goaltending is definitely going to be going to be fun to watch. The goaltending in both Arizona and Buffalo is going to be the thing I'm worried. You got to be like worried about.
Yeah, because who is it? Isn't Carter Hutton in Arizona?
I believe so. And the goaltenders for Buffalo are Anderson, who almost retired after last season, and Dustin Tokarski.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Who had one good game or two good games for Montreal in 2014 in the playoffs after Chris Kreider intentionally hurt Carey Price. And yes, I did say that. Yes, he intentionally. I mean, you got Kreider's going to do that as Seattle is trying to get something going. But even on this, I got to say the power play has definitely been one of the lesser points for Seattle in this game. Definitely struggling. Definitely struggling here. He just says, honestly, I'd bet on that every night with DraftKings promo. Yes, use the promo code THPN, especially when Arizona gets a 2-goal lead spread every single game. So
what a shameless plug. That's awesome.
Such a shameless plug. Yeah, well, hey, he should said it, not me. I didn't tell him to use it. He put it out there.
Absolutely awesome.
So Seattle with another chance here and a good block there as Pietrangelo with two really good blocks on this power play. And he is hobbling to the bench. That second one had to hurt. But Vegas is going to kill off this power play, and we're going to go back to 5-on-5. The Kings saying, this is our shot, go Kraken. Well, unfortunately, their shot kind of went away as
still got time.
But still got 7 minutes here, about 7 minutes to go, as Vegas is looking to try to get another goal. I feel like if Vegas gets another goal without it being an empty netter, that's going to put the game out of reach. Because that's just kind of where, at least where you look at where the game is now and everything, I think that's where we're at this point.
Agreed.
Richie also said, by the way, 9 picks in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because
that is disgusting.
They've got so looking at cap friendly for this upcoming year, they've got in the first round they have their own, they have Colorado's, and they have a conditional first round pick from Montreal, and in the second round they have their own New York Islanders, the Philadelphia Flyers, the San Jose Sharks, and the Vancouver Canucks second round picks. So that's ridiculous.
And Isha brings up a good point. That draft is going to be insane, especially with the flipping of picks. Yes, that's going to be nuts. I mean, Gary Bettman's going to have a lot of moments where he's going to have to go out and he's going to have to talk about, oh, they're flipping this pick, they're flipping that, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be nuts.
More booing. Yay.
The King is making a prediction. Or I don't know if it says anything, but he's still saying it's 4-3. Yeah, it's still 4-3 Vegas with 5:40 to go in the third period. Seattle's had their chances in this third. They ended up tying it, but it only lasted maybe like 30 seconds. Something like that, as Stevenson right now, Chandler Stevenson has at the moment, the game-winning goal. And we'll see what transpires here as Vegas has an opportunity as a tough angle shot is stopped by Philip Grubauer. Richie said, sorry, 8 in 2 rounds. Okay, but still, that's like it's a lot.
It's ridiculous.
As a shot there by a Vegas defenseman, I think beat Grubauer, but then hit the post because Grubauer looked back and the ref immediately waved it off. So a little bit of a catch your breath moment there. Sigh of relief for Seattle.
Grubauer has not looked very good here in the third period.
Well, I don't necessarily blame him for that 4th goal, though. That was just an unfortunate.
Yes, and that was an unfortunate bounce. Yes,
but yes, he does look like he does look a little bit shakier, like he looked in the first period. That second period, he was arguably that was his best period.
Yes.
He's just saying Tokarski is still in the league.
Yep.
Isha, he was playing last year in Buffalo. Like he's still in the league, right? Like that's the crazy thing. Like, and he's going to get a lot of minutes this year because that goaltending tandem is going to be fun to watch. And they have one of the best goaltending names of any prospect, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Oh, that's so much fun to say.
I mean, it is a long, long name, and I really want to see what it looks like on the back of the jersey. I just want to see that it looks that long. David Chambers, what do you call a large group of Kraken? Flock of Kraken, gaggle of Kraken, school of Kraken. I feel like school of Kraken?
I guess, yeah.
Because
it's definitely not flock.
It's not flock, and I don't think it's gaggle either, because that's bird talk, more or less. But
The Krakens are birds, I guess. Instead of instead of mystic monsters or whatever, there's
and then
birds.
Isha questioning the last one. School? Well, Isha, what's your give us one?
Yeah, you got something better?
Yeah, if you have something better, share it.
Yeah,
Share
let
it.
us know.
We'd love
Yeah,
to
let us
hear
know.
it.
Anybody, just let us know.
So in case you guys don't know, here is what you've missed from regards to the goals and obviously things like that. Also, by the way, Chandler Stevenson has had a really good game because not only does he have a goal, he also has an assist in this game. So there. Don't know why it went black for a second. I really am struggling today, ladies and gentlemen, with my computer. So I apologize. But East Hastings. Well, but they're in the West, though. No, Isha, they're in the West, though. Does that not just that doesn't? Yeah, the East what? No. Is that the supporter section? Is that the fan club? The East Hastings?
I have no idea.
And then he says, "I think school."
So he goes back and
he
says
goes,
school.
No, and he goes, "Bad joke."
Okay.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. I'm glad that you were not serious there because I thought for a second you were serious. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. But now it's about a little more than 4 minutes to go in this game. Still 4-3 Vegas. Ryan, when do you think Seattle pulls their goaltender?
A little over 2 minutes.
A little over 2 minutes. Seattle is outshooting Vegas at the moment, 30-27.
And
Isha also says Vancouver fans will get it. Well, okay. Well, a guy from Jersey and a guy from Texas did not. So that was a failed attempt then.
Wrong
good
part.
deflection there by Ryan. I believe that was Donato. Actually, that was McCann. I think did get to the net, but it was stopped by Leonard. As a good chance there. As we're approaching the 3.5 minute mark of this game, and the King says, "Whatever happens, I'm very proud of this team. Vegas should be worried. They now have a new challenger for the division." Okay, I'll just say I don't necessarily think it's a new challenger for the division, but yes, you should be very proud of this team, and Vegas should be worried because if they're going to play like this throughout the season, yeah, they might still win the division, but what happens when they get in the playoffs?
And everybody knows that is exactly what Vegas is talking about. Same thing with Toronto. They can't get past the first round in Toronto, and they can't get past they can't get back to the Stanley Cup Finals for Vegas. So that's all that those two franchises care about.
More embarrassing, the way Vegas has lost in the playoffs, or the way Toronto has lost in the playoffs recently? Hands
down, no questions asked. Toronto. That was the absolute biggest epic meltdown I have ever watched. Ever watched.
No fans. You had no fans either, which made it worse.
Well, and I mean, and that's going back to the other series that Toronto has lost. It's like specifically Boston. Yeah. And they had some series where they were up 3-2, and it was still bad that they lost it in 7. But that was absolutely epic meltdown. I've never seen anything like that. I don't think I ever will again.
Yeah, I mean last year was just set up perfectly for them. It was like
they could have easily made it into the Stanley Cup Finals. Easily.
Or at least to the conference finals.
Yeah. 100%
Because who would they have played in the conference finals? They probably would have played
Vegas.
Probably Vegas. And honestly, Vegas. I think Toronto would have beaten Vegas.
Yep.
Another turnover, one of the many. This one by Vince Dunn was taken away by a Vegas player, and then the shot was saved by Grubauer. And we're now at 1:34 to go in this game, and Seattle has not had the opportunity to pull their goaltender. So time is of the essence here for Seattle. They got to get into the others. They got to get into the offensive zone so Grubauer can get pulled and they can go for the extra skater. Excuse me. As Chris Chambers says, "Ha ha, Toronto sucks." Well, that's a foregone conclusion, isn't it?
Pretty much.
As Dave Haxtell is calling a timeout, so Seattle calls its timeout. I guess in retrospect, Ryan, it was good that Pete DeBoer didn't call the timeout after the Kraken tied it. I mean, it worked out in this way, I guess.
I think so. And coaches always seem to know when the right time to call a timeout is. Mm-hmm. 90% of the time when they call a timeout, it's a good thing, and normally it affects how the team plays from there on out.
Right.
So this is definitely the most critical time in the game right here, and give your guys a little bit of a rest so you can get your best players back out on the ice and let Haxtell play some chemistry with the Vegas team as well. Try to get the right matchups.
It would be so sick if Seattle could tie it here. Like it sounds ridiculous because again, myself and Ryan are not, first and foremost Seattle Kraken fans. We just like seeing Vegas completely screw themselves like they've done several times. Nothing makes us laugh more than that.
We like to watch the world burn sometimes.
We like chaos. That's what we wanted in the expansion draft. As Seattle now is officially pulling Grubauer, but Vegas has the puck right now. They dump it over to Max Pacioretty, who has it backhanded, and the shot is wide. About a minute to go here in this game. Seattle, with the extra man, is looking to possibly tie this game up and maybe potentially force overtime. It's a nice move there, as Seattle's still just trying to get it in. As a shot is actually stopped by Robin Lehner. Good opportunity there. Let's see if Seattle can just set something up here. If they're able to a little bit. As another shot there was blocked. Still just trying to get something settled. Wenberg has it now. And a pass out in front, a little bit of a scramble, but it was blocked again by a Vegas player. They've been really doing a good job of blocking. As another pass by Eberle with two Kraken players in front, but it was snuffed out. And now Vegas dumps it in, and no icing here as Mark Stone got to it first. 17 seconds to go here. Basically, one last opportunity here for Seattle, and they're struggling to just get it going. 10 seconds to go, still behind their own net. They got to pass it out. They make a long pass, but it's snuffed out by the Vegas players. 2 seconds and 1, and that is going to do it as the Vegas Golden Knights, after having a 3-0 lead, vanquished, were able to get one more here in the third and find a way to still win this one in regulation by the final score of 4-3. And tough break for the Seattle Kraken, Ryan, as they came back from down 3-0, but unfortunately gave it right back just seconds later and could not muster up another comeback and at least force overtime to get a point.
I mean, credit to Vegas here. I mean, even though they did give up the 3-goal lead, they were up 3-0. They did eventually find a way to win, and that's what matters in the NHL. And nobody's gonna look at the end of the day and at the end of the year and say, oh well, this team gave up multiple 3-goal leads. Who cares? If they won the game, they won the game. I mean, look at all these. I was thinking specifically like Toronto. They gave up 3-goal leads, and then they would try to come back, and they didn't win the game in the end. And that's what, especially in the Montreal series. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what you look at the end of the year. So, who cares? Vegas won. That's all they needed.
Yep, and unfortunately, the hockey gods were not with us today, but they will be with us throughout the entire season. And before we wrap things up here with this, as we've just reached over 3 hours doing this live watch-along, just, Ryan, let the folks at home know where they can find you on social media, your podcast, and anything else you got going on. So the floor is yours, my friend.
We got a really exciting thing going on with Sarcastic Remarks. We've got...
Thanks, Richie, by the way. We appreciate your support. And
seriously,
also,
thank you, Richie.
Thank you, Isha, for allowing us to do this. This was a lot of fun to do.
It was a lot of fun. We're pretty much everywhere. Anywhere we're at Starcastic R on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, Starcastic Remarks Podcast. We got Facebook. I'm still working on getting TikTok up. That's a plan in the back, believe it or not. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
That's the one social media app I'm still like not up to doing, but if I get to that point, I'll do it.
And we've also got YouTube, where we're starting to post a little bit more often. I just put up my thoughts about the Mika Zibanejad signing and also the Nick Suzuki signing, so you can go and check those out. I'd love for you guys to check that out. And what we're actually doing is we're going back to what we did last season for Starcastic Remarks, and we're doing what we call a PGR after every single Stars game this season. So, I mean, as soon as the game is over, Chris and I and James as well are going to go live, and we're going to talk about our thoughts. Take about 20-30 minutes, and it'll be live every single night after the Stars game, so that'll be fun.
Awesome, man. All great stuff, and we're looking forward to great Stars content and so much more from you guys throughout the season. Also, the King saying, even though we lost, thanks for making my first ever regular season hockey game special. Of course, man. This is what we're here for. We obviously cover, specific teams, and we're fans of specific teams, but we're also diehard hockey fans, and we just love, watching games, talking about the sport, talking about, anything going on. And this was a great game. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a bad game. It was 3-0, and we thought, well, this game's over. And Seattle made a game of it. It was unfortunate that, Vegas still found a way to win. But Seattle has a lot of positives to look at from this game and realize that they can compete in the NHL and that they're going to win a bunch of games this year. And Seattle fans should be very excited to see this team, especially when they have their first game at their brand new stadium. And he's just saying rock on Seattle. So as far as for me, you could follow us on Twitter at Devil State, on Instagram at Devil State of Mind, and also on Facebook, Devil State of Mind. We post new episodes covering all things New Jersey Devils every Monday and Thursday. So I'll have a new episode coming out later this week. You could also follow me on my personal Twitter at THENVPSHOW and my personal Instagram at NVPQB11. And I'm going to make a quick self-plug because I'm like that.
Because you got a new book out, right?
Yeah, I'm impressed that you actually you remembered that, but I don't know why we didn't show it. I hope it lets me show it. I hope people can see it.
Yep, we can see it.
There you go. So I have a new book out that's right there on Amazon, Maple Leafs to Maple Laughs, The Torture and Heartbreak of Being a Leafs Fan. I just published it today, and I shared it on all of my social media. You can check it out on my pinned tweet on Twitter and also on my latest Instagram post. It's a really, really really awesome book. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's the third book that I've written. I'll quickly here, because Isha's asking, comment the link after the video is posted. Yeah, I'll put that in the comments after this whole thing is after the broadcast and everything, so you guys can check it out. I actually also, just really quick, because again, I really like self-plugging myself. I have two other books. I have JETS Pain, 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 which talks about the pain and suffering of being a New York Jets fan. And also
the butt fumble?
Yeah. Oh, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there, my friend. And also Meet the Mets Mess, which talks about the regrets of being a New York Mets fan. Both of those books are for the price of $19.69. And if you're a Jets or Mets fan, or both, which I feel very sorry for you, you probably guessed why I chose that price. And also the paper book for Maple Leafs to Maple Laughs is $19.67.
Oh, that's just mean. That is just mean, man.
Which basically tells you why I chose that. So those are those books. I will put a link in to all of those in the comments after this video is done, after we're done broadcasting here. But yeah, that is it for us. Thank you to everybody who took time today to join us here on this live stream. It was great. Thank you, Isha. I appreciate the support. It means a lot. This was a lot of fun. Ryan, I think this was really the first time you and I have actually really met and talked. So It was great to talk with you and great to meet you.
Likewise.
Hockey. We'll definitely do this again. Maybe we'll do a Devils Stars live watch along this year. We'll do that, or we could do a outdoor game, whatever. I mean, whatever game we want to do, we could definitely do that.
Yep, sounds good, man. Hit me up for it. I'm more than willing to do it. Sounds like fun.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, again, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Again, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos like watch-alongs and other great content like that here on the Hockey Podcast Network. So, for Ryan Chambers, I'm Neil Villapiano. Thank you guys so much. Have a great evening. Get some sleep. And hockey is back, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.